What's good, YouTube and TSF Entertainment Podcast fans? It's your boy, Juggernautofsoles, and we are back with another one. And the fam is back. What's good, y'all?
What's up?
What's good?
Introduce yourself.
Well, it's your boy RETROCG in the building.
REALLYBTV, I'm here.
JACKOFJORDANS, we in the building even when we outside.
What we here to talk about tonight? Well, today.
Force my hand.
So Power Book 2, my favorite show. Power Book 2, Season 2, Force My Hand. All right, so I guess we'll jump on in here and talk about this episode. JACKOFJORDANS, what we got?
All right, so we open up this episode with Lorenzo and Drew as they made a decision to ride out on Keno because they decided that since he's not rolling with BSK, that he's no longer useful for him. So here we see they about to get ready to make their move on him. We see that he's, it looked like a trap house. He's laid up, with this chick.
It looks like an abandoned warehouse.
It probably is the trap.
Right.
Probably is the stash joint.
Yeah.
And, him and his girl doing their thing, or whatever. And we see the kill shot is actually taken by Drew. What y'all think about this? What y'all think about this scene?
Man,
it's kind of setting the tone for like the previous episode where Lorenzo is trying to force Drew's hand into the life and taking over the business and pushing him to the forefront. But then again, it was Drew's idea to kind of roll down on Kano. So,
right, definitely, and I think you kind of see like the evolution of Drew a little bit more because I don't recall him in the past, taking a shot at nobody. Like actually, he might have whooped some ass in the past with GTG, but I don't remember him actually physically, shooting, taking that next step to become the killer.
He was going to take out Lil Guap that night if it wasn't for Zeke. If it wasn't for Zeke,
he was, but he
was going to take out Lil Guap.
And this one was a little bit different. And I think he learned a lesson in the game in this one too. I think this was kind of like a learning curve for him too.
Marvin, Crystal, what y'all think?
I think personally, just what you said, basically, you know what I'm saying? This was setting the tone for the previous episode. Basically, in this whole situation, like Lorenzo told Drew, you gonna be numero uno. You gonna take care. You gonna take over the business when I'm gone. And this right here, I feel like Lorenzo was basically getting Drew's feet wet, man. Like, hey, look, you gonna handle that. But then at the same time, like he told him, man, hey, you're going to have to handle that.
One thing I can appreciate from Lorenzo is it kind of takes you back to that scene on the very first episode of Power where Tommy had brought the dude down to Truth and the girlfriend. At least she was blindfolded, so she didn't get to see anything, but she heard Ghost's voice, and that was a loose end that he left that came back to haunt him later on. And so, Drew was getting ready to let the girl walk.
Right.
Right, he sure was.
He was finna let her walk.
Lorenzo said, "Oh no,
yeah,
no."
So you see, Kano took her on out. I feel sorry for little mama. She was innocent and all that, but
right because he was telling her, remember, you didn't see nothing. But yeah, no, they were like, forget that, you didn't see nothing. You right, you ain't gonna see nothing else.
Yeah, right. You saw it.
They took her out.
Yeah, but I agree with what Marvin said, that it was basically these are his lessons. He's daddy's made up his mind. This is what it's going to be. You are next in charge, and now I got to teach you the game. So I'm taking you out. I'm showing you what you need to do. I'm basically throwing you in the deep end.
Well, it's kind of like he's showing him the ropes.
Yeah, pretty much. Next we see that Monet is approached. I assume that was his wife, Frank's wife, Evelyn.
Yes.
Pretty much talking about Frank not coming home. And if you remember Frank, Frank was released early. We all know why he was released early. But this, like with this scene, I'm not sure the significance it plays in it for this episode, but I'm quite sure we're gonna find out further down the line of why we had to see this scene, why this scene was so important that we had to. They kind of just threw this in there. What y'all think about this scene?
It just came out of nowhere for me. Like Frank been gone for a minute.
It was.
I kind of felt like with this one, was it a possibility of an introduction to, Frank's loved one? I mean, they popped him off.
Exactly. It's another problem that's getting ready to come back. It's another problem, introduction to a problem that's getting ready to come back, because you heard what Evelyn said. She said that last place my husband was going was to see you, and he never come back. So,
right.
That was the whole purpose of Monet giving her the money.
But she kind of knew why he wasn't coming back. She kind of Monet was kind of like, hey, Monet the rules of the game.
Yeah,
right. Monet told her your husband was a snitch, and you know how it goes. And she was like, I never even thought about why he got out early. I was just happy that he was home. Like that whole conversation they said everything that needed to be said. And that's why Monet gave her the money. And that's why she accepted the money, because basically that was Monet letting her know, look, he ain't coming home.
Right.
Your husband was a snitch, and you know the rules.
And you know the rules being part of the life.
That's basically what she said.
Yeah. I'm very interested to see how that's going to unfold, though.
So you don't think
we're going to come back and bite them in the ass?
I don't know. It just seemed to be thrown in there. I don't know.
Maybe if it would have happened earlier in the season. Maybe if it would have happened at the end of last season.
Because they got rid of Frank early. Like
maybe second episode last season.
Definitely by mid-season. Like he's been gone for a minute. Like you just looking for your husband? Like
so I think that's why it's going to play a role.
What it is, his character's never been spoken about since. So
ever.
Ever, but not all of a sudden. All right. In the next scene, we see
she's coming to look for her husband.
right. Now you looking for your husband? Come on now. What are you doing?
He's been gone about 6 months.
He's been gone for about 6 months at this point. Yeah.
That probably be with my husband. I'd be like, okay, you ain't been home in a while.
We're just gonna chalk it up to bad writing. We're gonna chalk it up to bad writing.
Yeah.
At least within 72 hours, she should have been looking for him. Like you covered everything that happened there. Now you looking for him.
So we see Davis and Saxe meets up with Tariq, and they showing him the surveillance of the actual shooting, and he's like, people was like, well, they saying this looks like you, and he's like, nah, it can't be me, because I was meeting up with with Paula at the Rockefeller Center, about some other shit, so it can't be me. But you should look at Saxe, and Saxe was like, well, we can use that, as an alibi. And Davis is like, nah, I kind of was like smashing that, so that ain't really gonna happen.
Right.
so that shit is out of the question. What y'all think about this scene?
Well, for what it is it's not looking good for Tariq, because he can't really name the person. So now he's trying to figure out a way to, it wasn't me, but I can't tell you who it was either. And so, using that Paula for an alibi ain't gonna work to his favor, because we find out later on in the episode why Paula wouldn't be a good witness to call.
Right.
Do not call her at all.
No, don't call her at all. Please.
Yeah, he was like, whoa, that's probably not gonna be a good idea.
Realize that Davis and Saxe, well, most importantly, Saxe is probably coming to the conclusion that Tariq really didn't kill the cop. And so I guess he's trying to figure out, well, who are you protecting?
Right. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Right. And that's where Davis really figures out, okay, he knows what's going on. He just can't tell us what's going on.
Exactly.
Right. Because he said, it's basically a street code. You know what I'm saying? Like, look,
right.
He may know, but he ain't about to say nothing. Because
he can't. Like he said, he can't.
It means his life or the life of somebody he's affiliated with that he care about if he say something.
Am I the only one that feels as though that like Davis and Saxe give me like good cop, bad cop vibes in a way?
They do.
Yeah.
Like in a way they kind of give me like they play off each other. They're not complete opposites because they're both unethical as shit, but they kind of play off each other, and I don't know, in a weird way. I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. I don't know.
Well, it's Tariq resonating on Monet's warning. I mean, what did she warn him on last week? What she said, you snitch, I shoot, you shoot, I slaughter. So I mean, he can't. He can't because he's so heavily involved with the Tejada family right now. I mean, he's in too deep, literally.
You know the rules of the game anyway, though. You can't be out here snitching. You know the rules of the game. You know how that can go.
Exactly.
No snitches. Kaden taught you that.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, with this next scene, we see that this is where Drew and Lorenzo walk back in from pulling their caper, you know, knocking off the dude that was running the BSKs for the time being. And right here, I think it's kind of interesting because you can see where Lorenzo and Monet bumped heads because she explained to him, you know, this was the reason why I made the decision to go to course correct in order to keep the streets out of the business, because
there's another way,
you know, right? You know, because there's a better way of doing this without it being to the streets. And Lorenzo's like, the only way of doing this is the streets. The game is the game, and the game is the streets. Yeah. You know, but she like,
hey. I'm sorry, Damon. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, and this is just again. It goes back. It's just reminiscent of the Tasha Ghost thing. Why can't if we found a system that works and we're making money and we're keeping our hands like a lot cleaner, it's not as much death and violence. It's easy money.
Right. Because
why do you want the hard way? It's like you choosing to take the hard route and the more dangerous route. It don't make no sense.
Right.
It's the rule. Yeah, it's the rules of the streets. It really be. I know you watched The Wire. Just to kind of, you know, compare and contrast, you see how Avon was trying to be in the streets, and Stringer was like, "No, it's a completely different way. But we don't have to be in that streets if we making much money." And this is kind of like the way this is.
Yeah, it's always that battle, and it just don't make. Maybe that's because I'm not a criminal, but it just doesn't make sense to me. Why are you choosing the hard way to do this?
Well, that's easy to answer because Lorenzo is about that street life. That's the only life you know. And that's all that appeals to him. This course correct, that doesn't appeal to him. That doesn't ring his name out in the streets. See, if Course Connect could have really been their new lick if all this stuff wasn't going on up at the school, these murders.
Thanks to Kane.
Well, Kane really started the ball rolling when he said that GTG guy up there that got killed in the pool. Right, you got the professor. You got too much heat going on up at this school. Had they not had all that heat going on them at that school and didn't involve Zeke, course correct could have been their new thing. That would have been a good lick for them. And so now he would forget course connect and take it back to the streets. You don't even got soldiers. You don't even have soldiers. So, and then you're putting your family at risk because you're turning your family into soldiers. When really, to be quite honest with you, all y'all needed to do was sit back and collect y'all money with course correct because y'all didn't even have to move the weight. Tariq and his crew was moving the weight. So all y'all was doing is getting a payday. So I mean, it seems like they whereas Lorenzo, Monet has already figured this out that, you know, this life ain't gonna end well for us. That's why she's trying so hard to get out of it.
Only in 2 ways.
Him coming home is fucking up everything. It's gonna fuck up everything because it's gonna get worse.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you guys. I mean, for that matter, that whole episode. I mean, that segment right there, y'all hit the nail on the head. You know what I'm saying? Like he's so big, you know, big on having his name strike fear in the streets, and like, you know, like Really B said, we got an easier way of doing this. We can just basically sit back and collect our bread because this is the easiest way of doing it.
Right.
And, you know, I mean, like she said, I'm not a criminal either, but I can only assume that no murders, no shootings, no crime, X amount of crime, other than
it's
somebody
good for business.
Right. When somebody start ODing or something, then basically you just sitting back making your money because nobody's paying attention to it.
Bodies bring the cops. Cops load up the money.
Like, bodies bring the cops. Exactly. So she was trying to get to it, and I think he just want to be more so, you know, like hands-on instead of collecting his bread. You know what I'm saying? Just sit back, let the bread come to you. You basically got all this. The whole system is set up for you to just make money and wake up. That's it. And you want to go out here and basically put somebody in the ground. You know,
it goes back to how Tommy and Ghost was operating. You know, they was moving weight in the clubs. They was using the courier system. You know, they had other people doing the dirty work for them.
Right.
You know, of course, because of the situations, you know, things kind of got a little bit out of control. But at the same time, you don't have to be dirty in the streets. I mean, that's what you got businesses and other things for, to hide your movement. And Lorenzo just want to be out here on the streets and be seen and be feared.
Right.
Ultimately, it's going to affect his family, in my opinion.
Probably. All right, this next scene, they're back in we see Tariq and Braden back in the dorm room. Previous to this, you know, Tariq had told Rashard Tate, hey, you know, I got some information for you in order, you know, for you to get what you want, if you could help me get what I want, and that's me getting out of jail. And he brought up the photo album, which they, you know, we saw that to kick off their hunting season or whatever, when they deer season. So here, Braden looked out, you know, being a friend. He said, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna bring it to you. You know, you can go through it, anything that I can do to possibly help. But this little bastard,
ungrateful,
he sees the picture that he did. He sees the picture that he sees, you know, with Sweeney posing as OJ, you know, having a dead Nicole in a headlock, which I think Nicole was played by Robert Winston, the father.
The father.
Yeah, the father.
Don't forget the black face.
He said, you know, anything but that. You know, this will destroy my family. Tariq like, oh, but I need this to get my family back in. I need to get my. What y'all think about that? Because this scene pissed me off.
Who want to go first? Because I'm gonna be on this for a while.
It pissed me off. It really did.
I got some things to say. So who want to go first?
Man,
this one, I think that personally, I think Braden should have went on and gave it to him. Because I mean, you can't walk, you can't straddle the fence, or you on one side. Be whatever side you gonna do. Like 1 minute you like, man, my family ain't shit. Then the next minute you, hey, yeah, but my dad. Like, come on, bro. If it's convenient for you, then you good. But now, you know what I'm saying? It's a means to the life that you, oh, well, I don't want to be a part. I want to be a part of this life. I love this shit. Now you got this opportunity. Okay, I'm gonna get this picture up. Oh no, I don't even want no parts in that. Don't want to put my family in that. Nah, man. Look, get a picture up, bro. You didn't win as far as stealing the shit. Get a picture up.
The way I feel about it is, again, it's with Tariq, it's always about him. Excuse me, him. It's always about him. It's always about what he needs. It's never about anybody else. He never sees anything
or the collateral damage,
right? Or just anything outside of himself. Like, I you know, I feel like the compromise would have been for them to cut the picture off. And of course, Tate was like, nah, I need the whole picture. But to me, I wouldn't have even gave him the option. I just would have cut my, you know, like, all right, I'm gonna give you what you need, but you don't need everybody else in the picture. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is,
use it as a threat, but you know, show them that you got the picture, but don't release it publicly.
Right. What he should have did was take a picture of that motherfucker and send it to Tate. Like, look at this.
But the problem is, once you give it to Tate,
Tate gonna use it.
He now has control of it, and you can't control what he does with it. So that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't even give him the whole picture. I would only give him the dude that he needs. You don't need nobody else in the picture. But for Tariq to basically tell Braden, I don't really give a damn how it's gonna blow back on you. This is what I need to get my.
It was a selfish move. It was a selfish.
It's not Braden's statement. It's not Braden's problem. It's going back to the episode where he got out of jail. And, you know, he tried to run up on Braden and blame Braden for his troubles. No, you are directly responsible for your troubles. So you can't get mad at everyone else, because just like Braden told him, like, listen, you want everyone else to, you make your problems about everyone else, and everyone else is not the reason why you're having your problems. Listen, I'm your friend. My family is innocent in all this. Why would you want my family wrapped up in all this bullshit when they're not a part of this life? They're not in the life. So they're going to be victims and going to bring a whole bunch of heat down on his family for something to benefit Tariq. Tariq don't give a shit about nobody but himself. And we've seen that time and time again. And this is just a classic example of how Tariq will use anyone and anything he can to get what he wants. And the whole thing about it is, as far as his father, you didn't give a shit about yours. You killed yours. But this man loved his father, regardless of what his family is or whatever the case may be. Hey, listen, I don't want my family name to be ruined over some bullshit that's going to benefit you. It's not going to benefit me. It's going to benefit you. So, you know, I just think that was very selfish for Tariq to even get mad at him about not wanting to give him the picture.
It was terrible.
You should have just used it as a threat, just like what Rashad Tate did when he went and talked to the boy daddy. He let him know that I know about the picture. He hadn't even seen it, but he put the fear in the man to make a move just by the threat itself. That's all you needed. At that point, that's all you needed. Hell, Tariq, you can go one step further and show Rashad Tate the picture, but not give it to him. Or whatever the case may be. But Braden's stupid ass is probably going to leave that photo album laying around, and Tariq's going to get his hands on it, and he's going to deliver it to Tate.
I hope not. Oh my God, I hope not.
Oh that's exactly he didn't take that. He didn't take that photo album back to his parents.
That boy too stupid. He going to leave that photo album laying around. Tariq going to get that picture. He's going to give it to Rashad Tate, and it's going to be in the press. It's going to be on the press. And this kind of takes me back to that whole Ghost versus Tommy situation, where Tommy used to always tell Ghost, listen, you're making moves and you're using me as a pansy, you're using me as a pawn, and you're not even telling me what the move is. Tommy would probably been with the shit on a lot of the stuff that Ghost wanted to do, but he cut Tommy out and he used Tommy, just like he set him up to be arrested at Lobos's motel that time and didn't even tell him what the plan was. So you're using your friend to your personal benefit, but you're not taking into consideration the troubles that you're creating for your friend. But then you expect them to be loyal to you and ride for you when you're using them to gain. And that's not cool.
Braden said, yo, this would destroy my family.
Great friend. And
this would destroy I would ride with you, but this right here would destroy my family. So why would you still want to do that? Like, hear Braden out. He's not hearing anything Braden said right now. He's like, oh, my sister, yes, and my grandma, and it helps me get out of jail. And no, bro, you have to consider what he has going on too. If this is supposed to be your partner, right now you're just being a selfish bastard, and you're only really worried about yourself. I hope you scuff up your Dior ones.
He's being too. So Braden wasn't with this at all. I mean, Braden was like basically telling him, like, listen, yo, we can't do this. But what do we see him do? He haul ass straight to Rashad.
He tell him anyway. He go back and Rashad, he throws his weight around a little bit, you know. So he's like, all right, you know, let me go ahead and give you this information, you know, but I don't want you to use the whole thing because his father is in there. But Rashad, like, I don't care who is in it. Like, it could have been the president in there. It could have been Moses in there, and Rashad would have used it. He didn't care. Rashad is self-preservation too. This is the way that he is.
And we're setting the tone for what influence is going to be about. So you remember initially I was kind of like, well, where are they going to go with the story to bring Rashad Tate in where he gets his own show? We're seeing the tone being set that Rashad Tate will do whatever. He will use whatever. And he will use whatever tactics he can get to get in a position of power. Yep. And somehow, some way, I feel like his brother is going to be collateral damage too further on down the line. I think his brother is going to end up something bad is going to happen to him because Rashad Tate he's got tunnel vision right now. He lost the governor's seat, so right now he's after that senator's spot, and he'll do whatever it takes to get it.
Yeah,
basically, and that's why I say you can't trust him. You can't trust him with that picture. Yep. You got to just give him what you want him to have because you can't trust that he's gonna color within the lines. Like, I think he's already proven that he's gonna do whatever it takes. Like, he told Tariq straight to his face. He was like, "Nah, fuck that."
Right, he did.
Photoshop. You could have photoshopped him out. Like, you got apps on your like. What the? Whatever. Tariq is. He pissed me off.
I don't give a shit about your spoiled ass friend.
Yep.
Yeah. It pissed me off.
Which is why Ghost cut him off when they were working on the Queen's Child Project. You know, Ghost saw where this was going with him, and like, no, this ain't someone I need to be in bed with. Like, I need to put distance between me and him because, you know, ultimately I'm dirty myself, and I'm dealing with a dirty politician. Like, you know, I got to put some distance between us because he will use me. He will use whatever he knows about me to get on top. And so Tariq is just too stupid to put two and two together that. Yeah, he might be able to do some things for you for immediate benefit, but the price to pay on the payback is going to be more than you can afford. And Tariq just doesn't know how to maneuver himself well with Rashad Tate. Rashad Tate is running all over him. He's running down all over him right now. And we're going to see what's going to happen with that.
So with this, we see Tariq he's walking into class, which turned a lot of heads. It's pretty much the elephant in the room. And this scene is quite interesting because Carrie is like, well, how the hell did he get out, on 2 murders, and 1 being a cop, and they introduced the topic of make a decision for other people, which I'm talking about multiple shots was fired during this conversation and this debate. Oh my God, this should have been televised. And they lead off with Tariq, leading off the topic, and Lauren is kind of like pissed off about the way that Professor Carey kind of exploits her students. As
they were
said.
messy.
It like this whole scene was messy, but I definitely was here for it. I think this shit should have been like televised on Fox Channel 7. This was like this was like one of the greatest debates. Oh my God! Oh yes, it was. It was definitely CNN worthy, and you could see that Carrie takes a shot at Tate too. Like people using their political power, in order to get what they want.
Dirty politicians, yep.
Yeah, dirty politicians and stuff like that. And Tate fired back. It was like, well, it's the voters that put the politicians in power.
Yep.
What y'all think about this? What y'all think about this scene?
Well, hold on a minute. Let me just run it back real quick. Marvin, what's the footwork? What we got on the footwork?
We got Dior's over there in the back.
We got Dior ones.
We got the Dior ones. I hope he stuff.
I don't know how he afforded those, but
we're sneakerheads first, so we're always going to check the footwork.
I hope he stuff.
I noticed them. Wait a minute. I did notice that they were the Christian Dior ones. I did notice. I noticed it. I noticed it. Yeah, I know ones. Now y'all know I know the ones. It's when y'all talk about the other ones. I'm like,
man. I had to press pause on my TV. Like he got the Christian Dior joints on.
Yes, he does. I don't know where he's getting his money from, and I don't know when he has time to go shopping.
I don't know either. That's about a $10,000 pair of sneakers, but
definitely.
But yeah, so in regards to the scene itself, it just takes me back to what I was saying last week. Me personally, I don't feel like he should have been allowed to even return to canonical studies. I mean, maybe go back to school or whatever the case may be, but that's one class he should not have been allowed to come back into. One, you're suspected of killing the professor for this class. One of the prosecution's witness is in the class. This screams. This screams mistrial right here. I mean, he's still interacting with people that are involved in the case. Like he could be an imminent threat to the witness. He's literally sitting next to the witness. I just thought it was so stupid they would let him back into class. But there was definitely messages, and for some reason, Carrie has a vendetta. And I think it's safe to say that the vendetta is she wants to avenge Javari's murder. And ultimately, I mean, she probably feels responsible for all of it because it was her that got Tariq in canonical studies. So ultimately, she may be motivated by guilt. She may be motivated to take Tariq down by guilt because, I mean, the whole sex addiction thing is a whole nother story. But at the end of the day, she's ultimately responsible for him being there and interacting with everyone that's involved. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, she definitely felt some type of way when he walked in that classroom and posted up at that desk.
Yeah, that was all over her nerves.
Yeah, and I agree with all of
his whole body posture though. Like as soon as he walked in that classroom and sat
like
down,
I'm here. I'm here.
Look
Ain't
at the
shit you can do with me. Ain't shit you can do to me.
He walked in there like, yeah, I'm here.
Got you. Got you. That's how he looked.
I mean, like he the man.
I mean, I definitely agree. I'm really just trying to, like, I know last week I sort of defended it a little bit, but I thought about it, and y'all definitely bring up some valid points that not just the fact that he's on this Ivy League campus accused of murder, and murdering one of their own, like not just some random murder, but like somebody that worked there that everybody knew. The fact that there are people that are going to be testifying against him, the fact that he has to like with Lauren and with the professor. Like, I agree. Like, I would think that in a real situation, he probably wouldn't be allowed in class. That maybe they say, okay, you could take your classes virtually, you could pick your work up from your professor, whatever. But having him just be up in class, yeah, I thought about it. I know last week I defended it, but I thought about it. And I was like, yeah.
You know, at the very least, there should be some type of order or to put distance between him and at least the witnesses or the people that are involved in the case, because I mean, it's the prosecution's responsibility to protect the witnesses. That's how witnesses get killed. This is exactly how witnesses get killed that are set to testify.
Saxe said if you put him back on the streets, he guaranteed that somebody else will get killed.
It's the same thing what Tamika was saying. Tamika was saying, you know, well, even Carrie was trying to tell Davis at the end of the episode, like, listen, y'all cannot involve Lauren in this situation because once you do, she's not safe. It's not safe for her. She's going to be dead. She's going to get killed.
It's a significant part of this scene too, because speaking of Lauren actually mentions the raid at her door room, but kind of raised the eyebrow.
Yeah, because she dropped some knowledge that Tariq didn't know about, and you saw him processing that. You saw him processing this, so you know that right there. That's putting awareness on her right now, just by them having that conversation about the drugs being found in her room. And he was like looking at her side eye, like, "Well, you didn't tell me anything about this. So what's up?"
Yeah, and Tariq tried to talk to her again after class, you know, about it. But at this point, she was kind of like, "Yeah, you broke up with me. This is done and it's over with. I really don't want to talk to you about it." And I probably really should be talking to you about it because it's like a whole bunch of stuff that you got going on. But when the dorm room raid came up, it wasn't even her drugs.
I didn't talk to you about anything. She's like, you ain't fucking with me no more. So, you know, figure shit out on your own.
Yeah. I'm beginning to hate they back and forth.
That Burberry coat that she rocking though hot though.
It is fire.
The fashions on the fashions is everything on here. They got all
the fire.
Right. They wardrobes be man.
I already said that. Whoever they must have a partnership with Fendi and with Louis Vuitton and now Burberry, because whoever is dressing these people.
They dress the hell out of them. At this point, it's every character. At this point, it's every character.
Except for Mecca. Mecca is just straight black.
No, he had on so that Louis Vuitton coat he had on was dope. When he went to go meet with Mecca, he had on a dope coat.
Yeah. No, that was Lorenzo had on Louis Vuitton. Mecca just had on black.
He
wears straight black all the time.
I'm sure it's designer too, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Probably. I'm sure it's something.
Yeah, I'm sure it's something.
So with this, we see that Davis meets with Paula. He's desperate, so he's trying to see if he could get an alibi out of her to maybe help this case, because his MO is the win percentage. He don't care how he wins, he just want to win.
Or whether they're guilty or innocent.
Yeah, he's like, no, I'm here to win. So he approaches her and kind of come to her with kind of like a mea culpa, but not really, because at the end you see she kind of blaming her like, okay, I forgive you for going to Tariq, you know, but she explains and breaks it down to her why she can't take the stand or why it'd be a bad idea.
Right.
Just period. Anyway, you know, and she knows that he's a scumbag. And as you can see at this scene, at the end of this scene, she pretty much pours the drink out at his feet like, yeah, please get out of my face. Don't ever call me again.
He got the ice and the shoe. There you go.
Get out of my face. Don't ever call me again.
Drink out of them steppers.
Right. And she said, and you can go ahead and put the ring back on. Like, you can go ahead and put the ring back on.
Right. She was like, go ahead and put the ring back on. I was like, yo, he bugging.
Hey, she hit him hard on that.
She would have big time though. But what y'all think about this thing?
Well, he really could have got her back if he played his cards right. He could have really got her back if he would have went with a little bit of humility and about himself. He probably could have got her back, even though she knew he was a scum and she knew that he probably hadn't changed his ways. His approach to her could have been different. But either way, she wasn't going to compromise herself by getting on the stand and suborning perjury for Tariq, because at the end of the day, when she met with Tariq, it was to discuss the video that Saxe had on him confessing to killing his father. Regardless of whether or not she's fucking with Davis or not, she can't be put on the stand because she's not going to suborn a perjury.
Right.
He's going to tell them what they were meeting about, and here's another murder for them to pin on Tariq. So at the end of the day, that was a wasted trip. Go down there, even try to think that he was going to be able to sway her to lie for Tariq to help his clearance rate on his cases. That's why she poured that drink out of them steppers. She told him to put that ring back on, and she walked off.
She got the hell off.
She got the hell off. Right, because the thing is this, and this is the thing that, like, her and Tamika, this is the thing that they're trying to get people to understand. Like, okay, so you didn't kill the cop, but you're still a murderer. So, like, you want me to get you off?
This one, a serial killer,
right? If you want me, but you want me to get you off, but you are guilty of something. So, like, nobody. It's the same thing with Saxe. Like, as much of an asshole as Saxe is, he's not wrong about Tariq. You know what I mean? He's like, listen, I'm not gonna fight all that hard because I know he's a murderer. He might not have done this, but I know he did that. And so it's kind of the same thing at this point. It's like, and can I ask? I know I'm skipping ahead, but if I might forget to say it. How many people is he going to admit he killed somebody? Like,
to everyone.
He might as well go to the police because he done told every damn body.
He admitted it to Tamika, and Tamika is not his counsel. So
that's the second murder he admitted to for Tamika.
Doesn't apply.
That's the second murder he admitted to Tamika.
It doesn't apply. That's the second murder she knows about.
Exactly. And she's not his friend. And I'm just like, what the hell? Like, how many people are you gonna admit that you are a murderer? Like, sir.
But here's the thing with that though, because they really don't like, they care about, Jabari Reynolds' death, but they're more concerned about the cop.
I have an issue with that too.
They're more concerned about the cop killing, but that's just the way that it is. Like, you just, like, a cop get killed, it's the whole world just stops, and we need to figure out who killed this cop and killed him with his own gun. And the badge was found in here. All the evidence is pointing towards you or whatever. So no, you didn't kill the cop, but you did kill Jabari. But they really just concerned about the cop.
But Crystal, you make a good point, and I'm going to horn in on it a little bit. You make a good point because they made it a point to show us when Tariq was getting out of jail, Davis tell him, trust no one. In the very next scene we see him, he's confessing to Effie about the murder. And he's continuing to tell everyone about the murder. At this point, you might as well go ahead and go down for the charges.
He told Brayden.
He told everybody he did it. You might as well
no, I didn't kill the cop. However,
he don't listen to his counsel, man. He pays out all this money, and I don't know how many times Davis or somebody has told him, don't talk to anybody about anything, and he just goes
capping off. Just capping.
He just runs his mouth.
I shot the sheriff, but I didn't shoot the deputy.
All over time.
Right. There you go.
And I feel like there's no one advising him. Effie tried to put him on game last episode, but Effie ain't always around. You see, that's what Tasha was doing, and that's what Ghost was trying to tell Tasha, stupid ass. You got us out here running all around. Remember that last episode where Ghost and Tasha met at the penthouse and they were arguing about Tariq? And Ghost was trying to convince Tasha then, look, this is the best thing for him. Not only is it the best thing for him, but it's the best thing for the rest of the family. Because at this point, you're running all around town trying to cover up for him, trying to lie for him and try to get him out of his mess. No, all you're doing is making the problem worse.
You're enabling him.
He has nobody. You're enabling him. So you have nobody else that's trying to talk some sense into this boy, except for Davis. And Davis is only motivated not for Tariq's well-being, but the fact that he doesn't want to take a loss. So it's going to come back. It's going to come back and hurt him.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like everything else, stupid.
All right, in this scene, we see that he's cleaning up the steppers after she done poured a vodka and soda on his fine Italian leather.
With his rejuvenator.
Yeah, it's fine Italian leather pissing him off. Pissing him off. Let me hit the dust brush. But Tariq and Saxe is also present. So really, Tariq reason for coming in there was to actually talk about Lauren's drug raid, but they also get to say talking about the possible alibi from Paula, saying that it's a no-go. You going to Rockefeller, meeting her there is not going to happen. We need to figure out something else. He brings up, Yas and the grandma, which I said this previously. I was like, the grandma's going to be no good because he already demolished her character where he kept calling her, you know, a drunk and all this type of stuff. She's in no position to do this, no position to do that. So the next option was Yaz, a 9-year-old little girl. She's 9 now, but the 9-year-old little girl, and they like, well, he's like, well, I don't want to put my 9-year-old sister on the stand or whatever. And they was like, you ain't really got a choice, bro.
Right.
You gotta make your mind up. You want off or you don't. How y'all feel about this thing?
The truth. It's the truth.
Yes, facts.
And there's no avoiding the truth, and that's what they're trying to tell him. Like, listen, you're gonna have to come up with something else because that alibi ain't gonna work. And you know, we had a bit of a debate or discussion about, you know, whether or not the grandmother would stand on behalf of Tariq. That alibi that he dropped in that episode wasn't for the grandmother because she was she was drunk, she was hungover or whatever when she came out. It was really him baiting Yaz. And I almost feel like, you know, we saw Tariq give Yaz that cell phone and the teddy bear. Are we left to assume? I wish they would have showed it, but are we left to assume that Tariq may have called her and told her what to say? Because she seemed to be led to say what she said. Because Jenny tore it apart immediately when she crossed. So it almost kind of paints the narrative that she may have been led by Tariq or someone else to say what she said. Which I was going to get to that when we got to that scene. But yeah, they're basically telling him, like, look, that alibi ain't gonna work for you, so you better come up with something else.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I mean, did anyone else have any opinions about that scene? Or are we pretty much all on the same page with that one?
I think you pretty much got that one. You know, I thought at one point that the grandmother would be perfect to help him out, but then after seeing this, and then
he don't ran that lady name down through the streets.
It was just like it was just
like, he already trashed her.
That's a
he don't trash her character right now. She a drunk.
They can't use her as a character. I mean, use her as an alibi. They throw that out quick.
Yeah, they say she's drunk off box wine. She ain't. No, they got that lady. They don't ruin that lady name. That
was dead.
She's done for.
Her turn up is real.
I was dead.
Yeah, she in rehab right now. She in rehab. She can't do nothing for her. She gonna pray.
With this scene, we see that Drew's actually, you know, with Everett, the rat bastard, and the detective, Kevin Whitman. Kevin Whitman pulls up, you know, to ask him, you know, some more stuff about the GTG beating that Drew had put down on GTG that day after the club. And this scene is quite interesting to me because it brings up, I don't recall whether or not Drew kind of knew that Ramirez was dead and Kane had something to do with it, but he put the pieces together when he started talking about the badge, and he was like, well, the badge was found in Tariq's room or whatever. So he was just kind of like, oh, it's fine. So he did have to know, because then he was like, oh, so Tariq was set up by, you know, it was by Kane, like a light bulb came off him or whatever. But Drew was in the room, you know, in the back. The detective kind of peeped and was like, yeah, he got company. He nervous, you know, whatever. I see, what was those dunks ones? I see some ones laying on them.
Oh, Lord.
There was some mids and look like we got I don't know what kind of black shoe that is.
Adidas. No, those some Adidas. They're Adidas.
Yeah, you see the joints laying out there. He like, you know, you got company, you half naked. Either that or you living like a slob. But, you know, he's a detective. He can put two and two together. So he probably figured, you know, because Drew's name was already mentioned previously, that Drew possibly could be there, you know, possibly or whatever. He's putting the pieces together. And everyone gonna say nothing while Drew was already in the room. If Drew wasn't there, I think Everett would have spilled off. I think Everett would have just, he would have been singing his ass off.
Yep.
Yeah, what y'all think about that scene?
I'm gonna break this one down because I got some things to say about this one too.
Man, look, I want Whitman to go to jail too, or at least, you know, something has to happen to this dude.
He gonna be Greg Knox. He gonna be the next Greg Knox.
He clearly has a vendetta to pop off Carrie, even though Carrie need to get what she got coming to her.
Well, she don't.
But he's hell bent on.
Oh Lord.
What you don't? Y'all gonna leave Carrie alone. I'm the only one out here that defend Carrie. No, you don't.
Oh man.
Listen,
okay.
Y'all gonna leave my Carrie alone.
He definitely after Carrie. I don't know what Carrie did to him in the past.
She broke his heart,
but
probably burnt him.
Man, something, bro. But damn, he is on one, man. Like, he on the warpath, and it's not leading to anywhere good. I think that he's
just trying to make a name for himself. He's trying to solve a case. He's trying to make a name for himself and is trying to solve a case.
And it seems like more so like with you just popping up at these random times of night and day, it seems like you just fishing for nothing. Like,
well, they know that the truth lies at that school. They know that the truth is up there at that school. They just try to figure out who they gonna crack to get the truth. And my whole thing is, Drew, you don't been told umpteen times. We talk shit about Monet, but Monet is on point. She been telling them from day one, stay your ass away from this dude. She ran up out the house last episode. You keep going back up there to that school. She done told you stay your ass away from up there at that school. Y'all keep going back up there. You and Diana, y'all came too. Y'all keep y'all whole. The thing is, y'all would think that y'all would be the furthest away from that campus as y'all can possibly be. Y'all whole family is implicated in all these murders, and y'all still flying y'all ass up here to the school every day. And know that y'all are suspects. Y'all are involved. Your family's name is being dropped. They shouldn't even know who y'all are. The only reason why they know who y'all are is because y'all keep taking y'all ass up to the school. The detective looking at the clothes on the ground, what kind of narrative are you trying to paint for that? Like, are we left to assume that you're supposed to know that he's gay? He's got another dude in there with him? I mean, he's a college kid. I mean, how many college dorms are you going to go in and you're not going to see clothes and shoes and stuff on the floor? So, I mean, what kind of clue were you trying to get by because he got a sloppy room with shoes and clothes on the floor? I mean, he fishing. He's on a witch hunt at this point.
He definitely fishing.
And Drew not making it no better for himself because Drew, you can't stay away from this boy. You can't keep your hands off of him, and you don't need to be nowhere near. Especially you out here committing murders, and you out here. Y'all know Zeke got caught up in all this. Y'all should be far away from the school as possible. My thoughts.
I agree.
The only connection they should have to that school is when they meeting up with Tariq for the re-up. That's it. That's all.
And guess what? Even that don't happen at the school. They always
that definitely shouldn't happen at the school.
Yeah,
no.
They always meet him off campus for that, except for that time that Diana brought that work up there to him that time. But for the most part, they meet him off campus. But yet still, them kids, Monet too, she bring her ass down into that school too much. Like, y'all know y'all out here.
But at least Monet has a legit reason she's checking up on Zeke. But the rest of them don't really they don't. I mean, she still shouldn't be going up there as much.
I want to know how to get on
but she's got a legit,
This is an Ivy League school. How are y'all walking in and out these dorms? How are y'all walking in and out of campus like this? I mean,
they walking on campus like it's a community college.
Yes, this is an Ivy League.
I mean, that's not. I mean, that's no big deal. That's nothing. Walking around on campus is nothing.
All right, so we see Zeke, he practicing his weak ass game. I can't stand Zeke. He practicing his weak ass game, shooting the weak ass free throws. So I'm working on my form, whatever. He got on the stupid shirt. He got the stupid face with the stupid hair. I can't stand this guy.
He had the infrared 6.0 with a Jordan 1 hoodie.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He just looking stupid as usual.
Hey, but you know what though? With that hoodie though, check this out. You see how that Jordan 1 apparently does not have a swoosh on it. It does not have a wing on it.
Yep.
So maybe they didn't get the rights to use an actual Jordan hoodie on this one, man.
Which he don't deserve that no way because he got the stupid face. Like he got a stupid face on this scene.
Hey, but did y'all see he had cut the bottom off the hoodie, man? So it was like a crop top hoodie, bro.
Because that's what stupid people do. But so Mecca pulls up on him.
We can't be too stupid.
Yeah, okay. Don't get me started.
I mean, with Tariq doing all his homework, which again, I don't know how Tariq has time, but okay.
Looking at these two pictures,
Tariq don't even have time to do his own homework, so I don't even understand how he doing somebody else's. Because remember when he got into canonical studies, he didn't even have time to read the book. He didn't even have time to read the book. So I don't see how you doing anybody else homework because he ain't doing shit for himself.
Right. And looking at these two pictures, it's like a Maury Povich moment. Like, how is Dante?
It was. It really was. It was a Jerry Springer, Maury Povich moment. I'm your dad.
Yeah, he was like, you know, it was pretty much against Monet wishes, and he's like, you know, you got a half size bigger, you know, than the other, you know, one's half size bigger than the other.
I just say most people do.
Man, I'm like, who cares?
Bigger than the other? Like what?
Yeah. I'm like, who cares? Nobody cares about his stupid shoe size.
Right here, it's you.
It says Ezekiel. Yeah, I really didn't like this saying. I really don't like Zeke that much. However, you know, I take your thoughts on it. See what y'all felt about her. I guess the biggest part I take out of this scene is that he completely said, you know what, Monet, I'm gonna do what I want to do. I don't care what you said. You said
she pissed him off. He's a scorned baby daddy. That's what they, and I don't like how they're writing him at this point. I do not like how they're writing him because they're writing him like he's a bitter, angry, scorned baby daddy. And so because she denied him,
he got a right to be though.
Their interest, and he does have a right to be, but because she denied him that introduction, I'm gonna go do it on my own. And there was a better way to do that. There was a better way for them to tell Zeke. It would probably been better for them to tell him together.
And I'm right, and that's why I'm not understanding what was his end goal. Like,
what's the motivation?
Like, are you ready to reveal who you are? Are you ready to reveal your connection to Monet and you being the connect? Because you going to Zeke. Let's assume that situation had gone differently. Let's assume Zeke was like, "Oh, Daddy, I've been waiting for you all my life." And he wants to get to know. Right. What if Zeke decides he wants to get to know this dude? Now what are you gonna do? Because now you've basically just unraveled your whole incognito plan. Because now everybody's gonna find out who you are and what your connection is to Monet. Like that's crazy.
Yep. That's stupid acting right now. He's stupid acting right now. And I think what it is he's pissed off because he can't get
reacting off emotions
on board. He can't get Nene on board. So
right,
now
that's what it is. It's
yeah.
really about. Sad thing is, I don't even think it's about Zeke as much as it's about Monet.
Exactly. Honestly. I'm going to get what I want, one way or another.
Reacting off of emotions.
Yep, acting off emotions.
Yeah, you should know that business wise, it don't make any sense. But whatever. Here's this scene. You see Monet. She's pretty. She's pretty worked up. She's trying to get to meet the agent for Zeke to possibly go pro. And you see Diana nosy ass being nosy as usual. The phone buzz. She checks the phone and was like, D whatever. I can't remember exactly what the message said, but she looks at the phone.
About him, Nate.
Yeah, right. That's exactly what it said. And of course, later on down the line, we're going to see how she used that piece of information. But they also have a conversation about St. John versus going to Stansfield. And she was like, well, you are going to school. You go to St. John's. What, you think I wasn't going to keep your ass close and tell you to still keep you away from Tariq? You got the game backwards, little girl. So she pretty much, she pretty much won up Diana for that. It's almost like she picking on Diana for even getting Lorenzo out at this point, but she did do it behind her back, and the way that she went about it was pretty jacked up too.
Right,
but
the way she did it.
Yeah, it was the way that she did it. So what y'all think about this scene?
At this point, Diana was free with me. She was free and clear. She dirty Diana now. She dirty Diana right now. I ain't got much.
I like that, dirty Diana.
I ain't got much use for dirty Diana no more because she was safe. She was safe up until this point, but when she stole that money, I mean, I'm not gonna say the action she did by helping her father get out of jail was necessarily a wrong thing. Is what she did and how she did it, because it's like Monet was trying to tell her when she was choking her ass out. I wish I had that clip because that was one of my favorites. When she was choking her ass out. What she was trying to tell her then, listen, it's not so much about the action about you stealing the money, is the fact that you led me to believe that someone else took the money and I killed them.
Right.
You got an attitude and you smart in my house.
Yeah. Should have put your head through that damn window.
Dirty Diana is a problem right now. She's a big problem because she's figuring shit out. She in grown folks' business. She figuring shit out. And
she's too nosy, man.
Yeah, she's too nosy. Problem. She's going to put the pieces of this puzzle together if she hadn't already in this episode.
I'm about to say she's doing it pretty quick.
Yeah, What did the text say again?
It says it's from D, which is Dante.
Right,
yep.
right.
We need to talk about him, Nay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what it said.
So it was about Zeke.
Yeah, no, I got that. I just didn't remember what the exact words were. Got it.
So Marvin, any thoughts on Dirty Diana?
Dirty Diana.
That's hilarious.
No, I mean, you pretty much hit the nail on the head, man.
You know, Michael Jackson made a song about her, and it's true too. She Dirty Diana.
Oh man, we should have had that playing.
Dirty Diana.
At this point, at times she definitely needs to stay out.
And the weekend remade it. She Dirty Diana.
Monet is already letting her know, like when she came up to get her purse, she was just like, "Get the fuck out of my way, little girl."
Yep.
Yeah.
Woo! Like Monet want all the smoke with
Talk
her.
spicy to her.
Yeah, she
Talk
want all the
spicy to
smoke.
her.
You messed up my whole situation.
Yeah,
like,
and like I said last night in the text, what made Diana? She said, "I thought this was gonna bring my family closer together, but it's tearing us apart."
Making it worse.
How did you think this was gonna bring y'all together when this whole thing was
you lying and feeling
off of your lie? Like you had to do it in secret. You had to connive. You lied about the money. You had to steal the money. Go behind your mother's back. Like all of it was done in a way. What made you think it was gonna turn out right?
And Monet has every right to be spicy with her right now. Look how she treated her. Look how she treated her at the party, and then the next morning when she made the breakfast, and she only brought the breakfast.
She gonna make breakfast and not bring everybody breakfast? What type of shit is that? Should have knocked that shit out of
to be fair, let's be fair. Monet been treating Diana like shit too. Let's be fair.
Facts.
She been yoking the girl up and talking to her crazy and whatever the case may be. But Diana is the youngest. So, you know, at the end of the day, you the baby in this situation. You need to go and get out the way before you get yourself hurt. So
and Diana don't listen. She said stay away from Tariq. She don't listen.
She's trying to protect her. But because Monet is so goddamn mean, she's so goddamn mean, she don't know how to show love. So, you know, the way she's been treating and talking to all them kids, really, I mean, this is the consequence to that. So because she gets so nasty and mean to him or whatever, you know, Diana's acting out. And how she's acting out is she's sticking it to her. You know, she's outsmarting her mama. But it's going to be a point where, you know, it's just like what Ghost told Tariq at the time, don't think that you're smarter than me. So, you know, is a power struggle between the two of these two right now because both of them want to be the woman of this house. And really, Diana needs to fall back and be the child, and let Monet be the mother. But Monet, she plays a part in this too. You're right, Crystal, because she has been nasty to these kids. So, I mean, she's not innocent in this either.
No, not at all. All right, so with this scene, Carrie was actually, it seemed like she was on Twitter Spaces and she was listening to the kids, you listened to the students had a conversation with about her personal life.
Yeah,
that's what it seemed like.
Clubhouse or something like that. And
yeah,
they were having a whole group discussion.
About her.
Yeah, I'm talking about they was going in too.
Yeah, they were.
Which rightfully so. So you see the dean, he comes in.
Wait a minute, let's stop right there. How do they know? Are we left to assume that Lauren has told everyone now that she
I think so. I think so.
I'm trying to figure out how does everyone know about it.
I think
because Lauren told her last week what Lauren told her last week.
Everybody's about to get ready to know. She said, "It's my business." She was like,
she
"Pretty
told
soon
her
it's going to be everybody's business."
Going to tell everybody.
Yeah, she said, "Pretty soon it's going to be everybody's business."
Oh, I missed that part. Okay, I was trying to figure out how everyone knew about it.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, and you see the dean walks in, you know, and he pretty much says, "You know, I think it's a bad idea for you to make your speech in front of the sponsors, considering how your personal life with Jabari has been exposed, amongst other things, her personal life with Zeke, and you know things like that." And Tate found the moment. This self-verse, I'm telling you,
he always
Tate found the moment.
His ass was at the door and found the moment. Just that quick. He's quick with it now. I got to give it to him. He's quick on his feet.
He said your feminist ways and all this,
sexism.
You know, sexism, and you don't want her to be on there and just put
which is really bullshit. Let's again, if this was a real situation at a real school, the fact that the dean had enough concern to say, I don't think it's appropriate for you to speak at the dinner, tells me that the dean knows about the rumors, which means that he should have been coming to her in an HR capacity to say, listen, not only are you not speaking at this dinner, but you need to come and see me first thing in the morning because we need to discuss what's being said around town. All of that feminism and stuff, that should have never even walked. And he should have checked he should have checked him and been like, wait a minute, first of all, this is a private conversation. Second of all, this isn't about feminism. This is about ethics, and it's about her job. Her sleeping with Jabari, depending on their rules within the school, might not have been a problem, but the rumors about Zeke is the problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple questions about this. So the dean has enough concern to want to shut Carrie down from speaking at this dinner, but no concerns about Tariq being back at the school whatsoever.
Right.
Yeah, there's an issue with Carrie. But there's an issue with Carrie when you got a murderer on your campus right now. There's no problems with that whatsoever.
That's bad.
Carrie's the furthest from the problems right now.
Yeah, that's bad. I like the way you defended her too.
I should have asked this earlier on, and Crystal, you're an educator, so maybe you can put some insight on this. How is it that Rashad Tate is able to be a teacher or a professor at a college campus with no credentials?
Well, so there's a couple of answers to that. On a
college campus, teacher, I could see that, but as a professor, as a substitute teacher, I could see that, but as a professor,
well, no, on a college level, none of that matters. They do it all the time on a college level. Yeah, I see it happen all the time. Former congressmen, former presidents, I mean, shoot, they even had T.I. co-teaching a class down at Clark Atlanta. Yep. On a college level, the criteria is totally different, especially if the person you're bringing in is going to bring prestige and bring some legitimacy. So we're talking about someone who was a cop. We from all intents, we found out we know that he had a good reputation as a police officer. Then he is a politician. He ran for governor, even though he lost. It happens a lot when people run for these positions and they don't win. They are in college. They become college professors all over the place. It's the college level criteria is totally different than K through 12. You don't have to have any teaching experience if you go to the school and you are bringing some sort of expertise. We see it. Writers do it a lot. Maya Angelou was a professor at our college, for a while. Like she was at Wake Forest for a while. Like you don't have to have any type of college credentials.
But I do agree with you though. The dean should have shut him down and was like, "Listen, this ain't politics right here. You're a professor, so this is
this ain't your place.
Me and another professor, see your way out of this. Yeah, you should have went on back to your classroom or your office or whatever, because you ain't got nothing to do with this conversation. But it seems like the dean cowers.
Should have checked him. Like, excuse me.
Yeah, the dean cowers to everyone because really he should have shut that whole situation down where Rashad and Carrie said neither one of you need to be at this dinner. Well, Rashad didn't get an invitation, but that's why he was advocating for Carrie, because he was trying to use her to be his invitation.
Exactly. You already know it.
Yeah, he put 2 feet in the door with that one.
And here, poor Carrie, she got to sit here and resonate on her action.
Oh my God.
She got to sit here and resonate on her action.
EG, come on, man.
I'm with you, Carrie. I'm with you, Carrie.
Oh,
she's a victim. She's a victim.
A victim of what? Not even gonna go there.
She's a victim.
All right, so
y'all can't see that. Y'all can't see.
I don't see victim nowhere in her. I don't see victim nowhere. Don't get me started.
I don't think she's a victim.
She's a victim.
I think she a lot of things, but I don't think victim is one of them.
I'm about to say I think she a hoe.
She is not
Jezebel.
Hey,
she was a hoe for sure.
We got to keep it PG-13, y'all. This is going on YouTube. Save that for the chat.
Her next body is Tate.
Anyway,
so with here we see Monet's back to the door room. Checking Zeke. Like, we had a meeting with the agent. They're trying to put you on. It's trying to get you the avenues to go to the league, and you missed it. What the hell's going on? And Zeke, like, with that stupid face, and Zeke is like, somebody came and said that he was my dad, and this one guy, I need to go talk to my mom.
I need to go talk to my mom.
I need to go talk to my mom. He had this tattoo.
And he showed me this tattoo, and I just believe what he said because he showed me this tattoo, and one foot is bigger than the other, and whatever. So he's he got questions. So at this point, he's like, I need to get this part of my life in order before I move forward. Monet sends him down, and he checks, checks like, yo, sit down. This dude is really just trying to ride your coattail. Your dad is not getting out of prison. I didn't want to tell you this. Your dad is locked up. He's not coming back. This guy's just trying to get on, move forward, focus back on basketball. What y'all think about
what we
this?
see here is that there have been multiple lies been told to him because he was initially under the impression that his father was dead.
Mm-hmm.
Now he goes from being dead to being life in prison. Okay, what's his name? I mean, he's in prison. That means I can go see him.
And why would he?
He should have unpacked that some more. He should have unpacked that some more.
But my question is, why wouldn't she just leave him? Like, to me, first of all, it was stupid for her to lie because DNA is so easy to just get a DNA test these days, but whatever. But even if you're going to go with the lie, why wouldn't you just stick with the lie saying, Zeke, your father is dead. Anybody that's coming up to you is on that bullshit. They just trying to get a come up. They trying to latch on to you. Like, to me, I would have admitted nothing. I would have stuck to the he dead story. Why now you want to invent, oh, he's in jail? Because like you said, now that opens up a whole nother list of questions. Because now
what jail is he in?
I got questions that I didn't have.
What jail is he in? Can I write him?
What jail is he in? Can I see him? Right, exactly.
Right. Why did y'all lie to me all these years? Why didn't you tell me? Like, what did he go to jail for? Like, all of this.
What jail is he in? Is he in jail down south? Is he in jail here? And see, he was getting ready to go see his mom. And see, the thing about it is, though, her sister wasn't prepared for Zeke to arrive and ask all these questions. So that was getting ready to open up a whole can of worms where the sister was going to tell him a whole different set of lies.
And all Monet had to do was, all she had to do was stick to the lie and then call her sister and say, Zeke is coming. He got some questions. Somebody walked up on him. Just stick with the story. His daddy dead. Like, that's it. Because Monet did allude when she was talking to Mecca, and Mecca was like, you made all these decisions without me. And she was like, I was 16 years old. You don't think decisions were made without me? And so now it's sort of coming into focus a little bit that maybe the family decided you're young. You got a future ahead of you. We're going to take the child. We're going to raise the kid. You go ahead with your life. Like, it sounds like that's kind of what happened.
And it probably was because at the end of the day, she's 16, 17. So let's just be honest. She probably didn't have a decision. She probably didn't have a say in this. That's exactly what happened.
That's what it
got
sounds
pregnant
like.
young, and they took the child and gave it.
That's how Black folk used to do all the time. Yep. They would you would go away for a while. You would come back. The baby, you would have the baby, you would come back, and you would go on with your life. And somebody who was older, who was, whatever, they would raise the child. Like, Black folk used to do that. I mean, that wasn't out of the realm of reality that's what would have happened.
It was more of a kind of practice.
The thing about it is, though, I actually thought that she was going to tell him the truth. When she was like, sit down, I need to tell you.
There was no way. It was no way. It was no way I thought he was going to find out the truth.
For a moment, I thought she was going to tell him the truth.
No way.
No, I thought so too.
Well, at this point, he's an adult and he has a right to know. So, maybe while he was a teenager and growing up and you didn't want this to affect his, upbringing. But at this point, you're continuing. It's like he told her in that car, you're continuing to put me in harm's way and not even tell me what's up. So at this point, Dante is dangerous. He is dangerous, regardless of whether or not he intentionally means any harm to Zeke. The fact of what he's involved in, his criminal organization, he's involved with the Tejada family, now supplying them weight. He's met Lorenzo. He's got a connection to his mom. Like, at this point, Zeke, you're in danger, and not even knowing that you're in danger by your own father. So this is about to be a big mess that's going to unravel. And so he confronts her about it. I don't blame him. I mean,
he should have.
As he should have. He confronts her and is like, listen.
He should have. But neither one of them got stupid faces like Zeke. So it's kind of like, whatever.
Maybe Pappy.
Whatever. I'm the Pappy. I'm the Pappy. No.
But I go back to what Crystal was saying. He just seems to be so... What is his end game? It's got to be Monet. Because he's got tunnel vision at this point. He will not let this go. I mean, you haven't had any dealings with this child in, 24, 25 years or whatever the case may be. Why now?
But my problem with this is, as calculated as it seems like he has been, now you're reacting off of emotions. And I don't like that. Like his character is changing because he never really reacted off of emotions before.
Yes, I
or
agree.
anything like that. But now you reacting off of emotions. You kind of going on the deep end. There was a different way that he could went about doing this because he seems like he's a smart street guy. It seems like he has, you know, the best of both worlds to come out of book
Or
smarts
does he
and street smarts.
genuinely want a
That's what it
relationship with
seems
his
like.
son? Maybe he genuinely wants a
He
relationship
may
with his son.
he may be, but right now he's moving. As of right now, from what I can see right now, this without foreshadowing is he's moving reckless right now.
Yeah,
from what I see.
I agree.
All right, in this scene, we get to meet an old friend. Tamika is back.
I don't like people playing on my phone.
hey, bro, I just thought about that like the minute, like every time I see
I don't like people playing on my phone.
I keeps it real.
Oh man, Tamika is back. You know, Tariq had reached out. Tariq reached out to her to get some advice. Which I don't know why he keep reaching out to Tamika.
Yeah, bro. I keep it
God.
real.
I don't like people playing on my phone. So for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, she played in the episode on the Chappelle Show. Tamika played in the episode of the Chappelle Show. And she was mad. Girlfriend. Yeah, about her boyfriend's girlfriend. When she thought that was a boyfriend's girlfriend, it was what his cousin or sister.
With Jamal and this guy, you club hopping Jezebel.
I don't like people playing on my phone. That's
club hopping Jezebel.
So like in this episode, basically, we don't talk on no more. But she was like, "Can we play it on my phone either?" I'm sorry.
Hey, really be caught that.
I caught it.
David, I'm sorry.
I caught it.
Oh man, I came from the hip with that one. But anyway,
yeah, he did. He didn't even aim that one. He didn't even aim that one.
Retro ain't peeped that one, but that's fine.
It's the hit.
You catch that?
I don't like people.
He meets with Tamika, who seemed to be his advisor or somebody that he could find in with everything.
He had called her earlier in the episode when they made it. Mm-hmm. He had called her earlier in the episode to come help him about Yaz.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because she seemed like like whenever he needs to confide in something and be completely honest, that's who he goes to on a legal standpoint. Like he can confess and cleanse his soul. It's almost like his soul.
But Tasha,
like she don't owe him.
I have no idea of why he keep going to her or whatever. Does she see something in him that he doesn't see in himself? I have no idea what type of
because he realizes that she's a good attorney as well, and she was instrumental in helping Tasha get off. So at the end of the day, he's using her as a resource. That's basically what it is. He's using her as a resource. He's pulling on her heartstrings with the whole sister. He ain't calling her about this murder case. He calling her about this whole Yasmin thing, and he put that down on her mind and try to pull at her heartstrings. Well, she'll help me if I plead to her for help with my little sister. That's what that was all about. That was just him running game.
Makes sense. Now you put it like that, it makes sense. Make perfect sense.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. So once again, it's just once again him using people.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing that Ghost used to do. Ghost used to do it all the time. That he would use different people for different means to his end, and that's what Tariq is doing. At this point, he's meeting with her and saying, "Hey, listen, I know that you might not."
He finessing
her. That's exactly what he's doing. And then the stupid fool admits to her. Well, she asked him. Well, she pretty much. I don't know why she keep holding on to these pictures because all those murders ain't Ghost. She keep trying to put all these murders on Ghost. Ghost did not kill that witness. Tommy did. Ghost didn't kill Keisha. Tasha did. So put them pictures up to make
it don't matter. You put it all on Ghost.
Matter. You don't know what you're talking about. You just
it don't matter. She think Ghost did it, so that's
Ghost
the way
is the evilest person in the world. Like, no.
Yeah, he kind of was, but close enough.
But my thing is, she shouldn't want to be dealing with the St. Patrick family. The St. Patrick family has been nothing but a mess for her. They got her fired from her job when she was trying.
And they're not paying her. Tariq is not paying her.
USA's office.
She don't owe Tariq nothing.
Yeah, she don't owe him nothing. So I don't know why she keeps showing up, and she knows she's dealing with a murder. She knows she's dealing with a crime, an organized crime family. Like, what you keep going down there for and thinking that you're gonna change Tariq? His own father couldn't change him. His mama couldn't change him. Tommy, Kanan, nobody could change him. What you think you're gonna do for him? Like, let that boy be what he is. He's the Satan. He's the spawn of Satan. Let him be what he is. Let him rot in hell. He's no good. He's no good for anyone. And his mammy sent him over there to kill you, and you still sitting up here trying to help him. You fool.
That's true. That's true. Wait, she don't know that though.
She don't. And we know things that she doesn't know, but still, she should know enough to know that if she keeps saying it, bodies keep piling up around you, or whatever. You should have a fear that you're gonna be one of those bodies. Like, quit. He's not an ally, and so I don't know what she thinks that she's gonna be able to do to convince him to cop to these charges, because he ain't. He trying to get out of them. So what you think, you're gonna talk him into taking a deal? And how can you make a deal for him when you're not the prosecutor? So I didn't understand how she could.
I didn't understand none of that. I didn't understand him going to her. I didn't understand her answering. I understand none of that.
Because she's not trying the case. So how can you offer him a deal that you hadn't even talked to with the AUSA that's prosecuting the case?
Lined up. She's already been burnt by him. She's already been burnt by him before. Why are you entertaining this boy?
Twice. And she was burnt by Tasha. Remember, Tasha fired her, trying to protect Tariq. So she knows the truth. She knows the truth. She knows where the truth is at. So I don't know what she thinks.
Had she, real talk, if they had let Tasha do her damn job, Tasha, I don't know if she would have. Not Tasha, Tamika. I don't know if Tamika would have got Tasha off, but Tasha wouldn't be in witness protection. But she did. She was close. Remember, she was close to getting her off.
She had got her off. She had got her off. But when she figured out the truth, that's when Tasha fired her. So she had already gotten her off.
Right. You're right. She had gotten her off. You're right.
She had gotten her off. And so I think that's why. I think that is why Tariq continues to go to her, is for support. And she's supporting Cass right now, because at one point Davis was trying to get her in on the case as well, to try and see if he could use her to help get Tasha off. But
yeah, I remember that. I recall.
I feel sorry for her, because I feel like, she skated up out of power unscathed, and she almost didn't make it out of season 1 of book 2. But I feel like the more and more Tamika show up for Tariq, the more and more she putting herself at risk of checking on up out of here before it's time for her to go. She's gonna have an early checkout if she keep fucking around with Tariq, because nothing good comes out of it. So in this next scene, we see that Lorenzo and Drew meet up with Mecca, which they know him as Mecca. We know him as Dante.
Right.
But they meet up with Mecca, and this was just a bad idea. This was a bad idea. Mecca should have stayed anonymous. He should have stayed behind the scenes. But because he got mad with Monet last episode, he decides that he wants to go ahead and go through with Kane's request to meet with Lorenzo. And I thought that was a very bad idea.
I think that's more so to kind of figure Lorenzo out. You know what I'm saying?
He wanted to size him up.
I think that's more so to figure. I think that's more so to figure Lorenzo out. Basically because, like you said, it's an animosity thing between him.
He wanted to see who's making his time, who's beating him out. He wanted to size him up
because, of course, you could probably look at. He probably could have looked it up, as we've seen several times in the past. People Google searching how the family is. I think he could have pretty much looked them up, but at the same time, like he told Kane, I know the name, but never had the pleasure. So this was kind of like, to me, man, let me like you said, size him up. Let me put some eyes on him, see what he look like, see how he move to the physical, and kind of, kind of gauge what my next move is.
That's absolutely what this was. This was an ego move. This was a dick contest. This is exactly what all of that was.
Yep, I agree. But I
definitely call it a pissing contest.
Yes, it was. And you see that Kane wasn't here for Drew showing up for the meeting either. So, we getting this Kane versus Abel.
I was going to say the exact same thing. Kane and Abel situation. I was going to say the exact same thing.
It's developing. It's developing. And we also get introduced to a new character in this scene too, Raquel, which I'm assuming is one of Mecca's hitters or his number one hitter.
That's one of the goons. She the silent hitter.
Yeah, hitter. Yeah, hitter.
She's so lovely.
Hey, and
I wonder why they waited so late in the season. I wonder why they waited so late in the season to bring her, because we were left under the impression that his number one hitter was the chef assassin. Yeah, the chef. But we see Raquel.
Well, she say, hey, I thought you said it was one person.
Yep. Yeah, she was peeping the scene out too. But what I didn't understand is why give the Tejada family all of the weight? So that instantly cut Kane out. What Kane was doing, Kane was already doing his thing on the side. So why would you cut Kane off to give the Tejada family all of your weight, and now Kane don't have to do his thing that he was doing?
I didn't understand that either. I didn't understand why he cut Kane off.
I was hoping that you did, because I needed someone to explain.
No, I didn't understand.
Well, you know Kane is Tejada fan. He know Kane is Tejada, so there it is.
Yeah, but money is money.
That's the only way I can look at it.
He's already getting money with Kane,
right?
And we're going to see that's going to put them in a predicament.
Oh, you know what? Maybe it's a way to maybe it's a way to cut Monet off. Maybe
that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. I forgot about that. That's exactly what it is. Because he knew that Kane and Monet was doing their own thing on the side with course correct. That's right. Yeah, you're right. That's what it is. Mystery solved. I just think that this is not going to be strange bedfellows here. These are going to be rivals, and they're
absolutely.
They're definitely going to go at each other especially once Lorenzo finds out what's going on. That's going to be a big problem. That's going to be a big problem for the organization too, because then that fucks up y'all connect. So not only are y'all not going to have no drugs, but then y'all going to be at war with each other. So this is going to be a big mess. Well, we make our way to the dinner. We make our way to the dinner. CP, you want to break this one down?
I mean, I'm just saying, like, Lauren was basically letting Carrie know who's in charge. Like I'm in charge of the girls now. Like
I'm in charge of the girls now.
You had me over a barrel. You did what you did, but I'm flipping that script and I'm going to embarrass you, and I'm gonna do it in a way that I can stand back and still look innocent. You know what I mean? So
right. That's exactly what she did.
Basically, everybody is whispering. Like the rumor has spread throughout everybody. I mean, the donors are whispering. Everybody's whispering. While Carrie calls herself giving her speech on Jabari. But like I said, the dean was not wrong for saying she shouldn't have given that damn speech.
I agree. And she should have known for herself that it probably wouldn't have been a good idea for her to do it. But
especially once she knew that they were gossiping about her, like it'd be different if she didn't
especially
know.
After she had heard that recording
about you.
Yes, after she had heard that live stream or whatever she was on, where she was listening to what the students were saying about her.
Exactly.
That was her confirmation right there. That was your confirmation.
Yeah, that should have deaded her whole thought of doing a speech.
Right. She should have fell back after that, because at this point she knows she's got confirmation that everybody on the campus is talking about her. And
that's that ego, though.
How generous she is. Yeah, it was her ego. Even Bruschetta was like, the temperature between y'all don't seem too right. Everything good? They was like,
right.
Yes, Keisha.
Yep. So we see Tate at extortion at his best. Extortion, blackmail at his best. And he's just in his moment, in his element, doing what he do best.
With his fine ass.
Now, I had an issue with the comments that were being made at the table with the family about this jabbery. Does anyone know who this jabbery is? It kind of goes back to what you were saying earlier, Crystal, that all the emphasis is on Detective Ramirez's murder, and like Jabari is just an afterthought, and of course, that dysfunctional family of theirs was sitting there having a conversation about his book and how the mama had read the book and all the sex scenes and all that stuff. And Tate walks up and approaches the father and pretty much puts him on notice that, listen, I know about this picture.
But I don't think that was a good play.
I didn't think it was a good play either. Or at least he played his hand too soon. But what he was doing was, his motive was, I'm going to use his friend to convince him to step down. without me even having to have access to the picture. In other words, I can get this done on my own without Tariq giving me the picture, and now I can cut Tariq off without having to help him anymore. So that was the motivation with that. Let me go ahead and see what I can get done on my own without the picture, and see if I can get what I need up out of I don't even remember what the guy's name is. I don't even know what the man's name is, but Braden's father. And so Braden's father told him, like, listen,
I mean,
Robert Sweeney is the senator.
Robert Weston. That's it. That's
Weston. Mr. Weston, or whatever his name
Robert
is.
Weston.
Mr. Weston was like, listen, I don't take blackmail easy. You know, I don't take this extortion easy or whatever. He was like, well, he was like, I don't take blackmail easy. He's like, well, what about the black face? So he let him know that I know about.
And that's when his face, but his face cracked a little bit when he heard the
black
face.
He cracked a little bit on pressure when he said that black face. Yep, he cracked.
His face definitely cracked. He was like, "Oh, wait, shit, how you know that?"
Because then I think he was thinking, what does he know? Like, hold up, what does he know?
Oh, he's seen the picture. I mean, he's seen the picture.
Yeah.
Yep. So
but again, it's going to trace it. But the messed up thing is, it's still going to trace directly back to
Braden.
No, not Braden, to Tariq. Because Braden knew about the picture. I mean, Braden
was listening into the conversation.
And didn't Tariq look at the picture while he was there at the house? Because
remember the brother took the photo.
No. Yes, when he came and talked to his dad, Braden had got up and walked away from the table already.
No. I'm talking about it's still going to trace back to Tariq. Crystal's right, because when Tariq first saw the picture, he was at their house.
They was at the kickoff for the hunting.
When they was having that gathering, and the brother came up and snatched the album from him and said, "You don't need to be looking at this."
Right.
So when it gets out,
why would you keep something like that?
And right on the damn down.
You know how privilege is. You know how privilege is.
Keep something like that. That doesn't make any sense to me. But that's whatever.
You know how privilege is.
First of all,
it's a trophy. It's a trophy. It's a trophy. It's a parody on black folk. It's a parody on black folk. It's picking on black folk. It's picking on OJ.
But they didn't think. But the other part is they don't think they.
You know how privilege is. They can't be touched. That's why they kept.
I don't even think it's that deep. I think they don't think they did anything wrong.
No, there's racial undertones with that, because even how they son Tariq over there at that gathering, it's privilege at its best.
No, I get that part, but what I'm saying is, when you think about Halloween costumes, look at every year. We have to have this conversation about what is appropriate and what is inappropriate.
What is not correct.
You figure 20 years ago, the political correctness wasn't where it is now. I mean, all of us have worn a Native American costume at one point in time, but it's no longer acceptable to do that. So what I'm saying is, it's an old picture that they took 20 years ago that at the time, was it still inappropriate? Sure. But would it have cost him a Senate race 20 years ago? No. It would cost him a Senate race now.
Because of the times.
Right. So that's what I mean. So like you said,
why you know how that goes.
That picture's probably how many of us got pictures in our photo albums that we've never looked at, and we took the pictures sitting there, we ain't thought about it. And I think that's what it was, that it was just something in that photo album, because I don't even think the brother knew particularly what Tariq was looking at. The photo album itself was part of this, was a fraternity photo album. And he was like, right. So I don't even think the brother paid attention to the specific picture. It was just, you're not part of the fraternity. You can't see this.
And if Braden is smart, he'd get rid of that picture.
But they're going to remember they took the damn picture. They're going to know what the picture is.
They can remember they took the picture, but he should get rid of
the picture.
Well,
he knew it. You saw it on his face. He processed it in that moment. He processed it in that moment. When his face cracked, when he was like the black face. Oh, yeah. He processed it in that moment.
Definitely.
My poor.
All right, well, here we got, this is where Carrie makes her, or attempts to make her speech.
Really?
Poor Carrie trying to give her speech.
Oh no, she don't look like poor Carrie now. No, the cat is out the bag. That she's, doing this person and doing that person, and she, try to do her speech in front of the sponsors. She's trying to do a speech in front of the sponsors, and everybody is mumbling and kind of looking at her. Just she feels like the elephant in the room.
I wasn't clear if that was actually happening, or was she imagining that was what everyone was doing.
No, because Tate said, yeah, everybody was talking about you.
Okay, so that was a real moment. Because I kind of takes me back to that episode where Ghost was trying to give that speech, and he saw Raina in the audience, and he just fumbled. That's what I felt like was happening here. I don't necessarily think that everyone was actually talking about her. I think that's what she think everyone was talking about her, and she just she melted. But it could be.
No, I think everybody was talking about her.
They probably were. They probably made such a point to you know, try to tell her, look, I don't think it's a good idea for you to go. So you might be right.
Because like even during the introduction, when they were trying
to save her from this happening, they were trying to save her from the dean.
Right, that's what I'm saying. The dean wasn't wrong. The dean was not wrong.
No, remember when she said the big heart or whatever, and the big heart must be in his pants or something like that. Everybody was definitely talking about her.
Yeah.
Everybody was definitely talking about her.
Carrie, it's gonna be okay.
It's not.
It's gonna be okay.
It's not. Her career is done in Stansfield.
It is. It's gonna be okay, Carrie.
Her career is done in Stansfield. But it's gonna be okay.
We're gonna get through this, Carrie. It is.
And then she runs off stage. She runs off stage, and during another vulnerable moment, here comes self-preservation here comes Tate. Look at her with a smile. You can't not look at her.
Tate has a foot in the door. He has a foot, a leg, and an arm in the door now.
He put that cape on. Shall I save her? I want to be saved. You know he came to save. You know he came to save.
You want to be saved.
Look at her. Yeah, she want to be saved. She always want to be saved.
She did not.
But here you see it, and she's having like a regretful moment, and Tate comes and pretty much tells her, you know, this ain't the end of the road for you. You know, I don't want you to think it is bad as it saves. It's definitely as bad as it saves.
I'm sorry, guys. For those of you who think that Carrie's going to get killed and she's going to die, she's not. She's going to be an influence. This is going to be our new power couple. It's going to be Tate and Carrie. They are going to be an influence. This is the undertone of what's happening. Tate and Carrie, they're going to be a power couple.
But she's going to end up smashing the homies.
Anyway, speaking of smashing the homies, let's talk about Tariq.
Speaking of smashing, how about that segue?
Let's talk about Tariq and all this clapping he doing over here at this campus. And Dirty Diana finally got what she wanted. Dirty Diana finally got what she wanted.
This scene, Lauren kind of just pops up at his room at this point. Like, you know, I want to talk to you. I guess she found some type of conscious about the conversation she had with a couple of people who was like, well, I do know what she had with Carrie. I do know him. I know about his sister, you know, his dad. He has nobody. He lost his best friend, whatever. So she went over to the room to talk to him.
Who was the best friend?
Kanan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Kanan was the best friend. So
okay.
So Lauren goes over there to talk to him, and then Dirty Diana pops up. And then Tariq hits her with you know what? My lawyer said I probably need to stay away from you anyway.
Now you
have a good life.
Now you remember that? You remember that?
Your ass is listening.
Now you're listening. Now you're paying attention to what your
lawyer said I probably should be talking to you. Yeah.
After you don't talk to 25 other people about murders.
Yeah. Right. Have a good life. You know, and Dirty Diana. Now Dirty Diana came on to him.
She did. That's what she came there for.
And this scene, Dirty Diana never came on to him. And this is why I think like some of the things that Monet does towards her is warranted because she keeps telling him stay away from Tariq. Stay away from Tariq.
This is
stay away from Tariq.
From happening. She told him stay away from Tariq. But you know what we see in this scene, the introduction? This is when she officially becomes Tasha St. Patrick. This is when she officially becomes Tasha St. Patrick. She gonna get pregnant. I'm telling you, she gonna get pregnant. Tariq done been with all three of these girls. He done been with Lauren. He done been with Effie. This is the one that's gonna get pregnant. And she's gonna become the next Tasha St. Patrick. And Tariq's real love for his wife is gonna be Lauren. This is the moment where she becomes Tasha St. Patrick. Watch.
I would have thought Effie would be more than Tasha St. Patrick because Effie seemed like she was more with a lot of stuff than Diana.
Effie gonna betray him.
I'm telling y'all, I don't trust her. Effie is going to betray him. I don't know who she's working with. I don't know who she's working with, but Effie, yeah, it's
going to be between. It's going to be next season. It's going to be Lauren versus Diana because Diana's going to end up pregnant by him, and Lauren's really going to still have feelings for him because we see this in this scene right here. She was trying to go over there and make things right with him so they can get back together. and she was going to try to apologize, but Dirty Diana beat her to the punch. She put that thing on him, and now what's going to happen? This is what's led up to this moment, because Monet has been trying to keep him away. She's been trying to keep Diana away from Tariq. She's been trying her best to keep Diana from up at that school, from going to that school. It just, I see it in the writing. I see it in the writing. It would be very interesting to see that. What would be a twist is if both of them end up pregnant, but I don't see Lauren being pregnant. I do see Diana getting pregnant by him, and that's how he gets stuck with the Tejada family. He's going to become a part of the Tejada family. It's just setting the narrative for seasons to come that they're going to have a relationship where Tariq had a moment where he actually didn't really. It's just like how Tasha asks Ghost, "Did you ever really love me, or did you use me?" And that's what Tariq has been using Diana. He's been using Diana for product. He's been using Diana for information. And why would she even want to sleep with him at all after he dimed her out to his mama?
Right.
He sat there and told Monet that she stole the money. So,
but Monet didn't tell her that. She doesn't know how Monet figured. She just, for all she knows, Monet just figured it out.
That's true. That's true. I didn't think about that. I mean,
Dirty Diana.
Amy, what you think about this Dirty Diana and Tariq?
I think, well, for one, I think Tariq is just being a college kid. He's gonna get whatever cheeks he possibly can get as a college student. So I'm not even faulting him completely for that.
If they were randoms, yes, but
it's messy. It's messy as ever.
All these women are part of a puzzle that's
it's extremely messy. But for an 18, 19-year-old is going to be messy with women at that age. So I'm not really faulting them for that. What I kind of fought Dirty Diana a little bit more because your mom said stay away, and especially because of everything that's going on right now with the double murders, the business portion of it. There was a rhyme and reason behind that. She's probably going to eventually get hurt because now you're looking at, Effie, who was just trying to short the ropes of being a scammer. Everything not too long ago, they was just, kicking it inside of Nordstrom's not that long ago or whatever, trying to run up a scam. And now they both smashing. So I think that's going to be a little interesting conversation.
There'll be conflict between the two of them. But what they really should have done, I wish they would have written it where Diana would have ended up going to the same school. And I said this last week. I really wish they would have made it where Diana was at the school with Effie. I think that would have been better for the story. I think that would have been better for this inner conflict between the two of them that's going to develop once they find out that both of them have been sleeping with Tariq. That would have been so much better for the story if they would have had Effie and Diana at the same school.
All right. So in this scene,
I mean, not to beat a dead horse, but I still think that the bad writing was that they're not acknowledging the fact that Effie and Braden are older than Tariq. Like, they're still not. They make it seem like they're all at the same age, and they weren't.
Yeah. Because they were at Choke before Tariq got there.
Exactly.
So
and remember, they were older than Tariq.
If anything, maybe not even older. If anything, they should be further along in their coursework than Tariq.
Right. They were. That's what I'm saying. They were a year ahead of Tariq, or 2 years ahead of Tariq. Because remember, they were getting ready to graduate, and Tariq was still in like 10th or 11th grade.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to, and I was going to talk about that when we got to Yasmin's scene, but it's going back to Yasmin being 9 years old. So we're saying that 9 years have passed in Power? No.
That's what I'm like, yo, how
but that's why it goes back. It goes back to what I said.
She was a baby in the crib choking on the keychain the first season of Power. She's not
but it goes back to what I said last season when they started this. What they should have done was fast forwarded 2 years.
2 years
and
later.
much more. So many things would just make so much more sense. If they had just fast forwarded 2 years and started with Tariq being a sophomore in college, a lot of this would would make so much more sense. But whatever, that's what under the bridge.
Agreed.
All right, this is what I like to call another pissing contest. It seemed like to me, this is where Drew was watching something on TV,
They
and
both were
Kane just
right,
pretty
though.
much came
They both
in,
were right.
and Kane just came in and was like, "Yeah, I'm taking the remote. I'm doing whatever it is that I'm doing." And Drew like, "Yo, so what's really your problem? You know, you kind of was trying to show out on me. You know, when we meant to connect. Like, what's really your big issue? Well, we know what his biggest issue is. His biggest issue is, hey, you the
You
number
got my
one guy
spot.
up, and
You
I
got
was
my
supposed to
spot.
be the number one
Yeah,
guy
you
up.
got my spot.
So I have a problem with that. But Kane flips it, you know, and was like, "Yeah, your dude is a snitch. What you gonna do about that? I did this in order to protect this family, and now you still going back to see this dude who is snitching. You know, what are you gonna do about it?" Drew got into his feelings. He ain't like what was being said. It's true, but he ain't like what was being said. And you know, that's when it got physical. And then you see Lorenzo, he comes in, you know, and he breaks it up and say, "Y'all making a mess on my house. Please clean this mess up," or whatever. And remember, Drew, I said no loose ends. So whatever issue it is, you need to fix it. How y'all feel about that?
I agree 100%.
Yeah, for once, Kane wasn't wrong. I mean,
yep, he wasn't wrong. He was
Mm-hmm.
disrespectful, but he wasn't wrong.
Definitely.
Well, Kane's always disrespectful, so
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think he know any other language to speak but disrespect.
I don't think so either.
That is his love language, disrespect.
But Drew was right as well too, because all you got is another master right now, and you can't see past your own way to see that you're being used. So how Drew came to this conclusion, I don't know, but he's right, because Mecca has used him 100% has used him, and I mean, so they both were right, and Lorenzo's right. All three of them were right in this whole situation, because Lorenzo had already told you back at the stash house or the crime scene, no loose ends. And Everett is definitely a loose end. You heard that for yourself when you was in the back room listening to him talk to the police. But going back to that scene, I meant to mention that in that scene, it wasn't clear to me as well that Drew knew that Detective Ramirez was dead. It seemed like to me, it felt like only Monet knew that because of the whole PBA card situation. So maybe that must have happened off camera or whatever the case may be, but we never did see the rest of the family come to realize that Ramirez is dead. I guess they assumed that he probably was since he had stopped coming around or whatever. But I mean, Everett is a loose end that needs to be tied up. And that's what Lorenzo told. Tie up this loose end and clean up my house that y'all don't tow up.
Right.
So this is the scene right here that just broke my heart. It really did break my heart, because they should not have involved Yaz. I mean, at this point, Tariq is reaching, and everything he has tried up until this point ain't working. So his last resort, his only resort, was to put his sister on the stand, I think this is a mediation at this point. This was a mediation. They weren't in the courtroom. They were like in the judge chambers. And then you see they got it back, old shakedown judge that Tate had last week. They got in front of that shakedown judge to question this little girl. And she wasn't prepared for it. The poor thing. She was nervous. That Burberry shirt she got on was fire.
Right. That Burberry outfit was cute, right?
That was fire.
It was. I was about to get ready to say that. That Burberry joint was. We see who getting money.
And she's just the most adorable little girl. She's cutie. But to me, this is why I felt like it would have been better if they would have shown us this. But she wasn't being led by Davis to say the things that she was saying. It almost as if Tariq may have reached out to her and told her what to say, because she confirmed everything that Tariq said. But we know that that's a lie. We know that Tariq didn't spend the night. So at some point, we're left to assume that Tariq must have orchestrated her statement in front of everyone. And we saw where the whatchamacallit broke that statement all the way down. And he's sitting there looking like the evil person that he is. Even him came to the realization that I can't put my sister through this.
And that probably was that phone, you know, when you said the phone and the teddy bear. And you're probably right about that, because they probably had a conversation about that prior to that, because how would she know to say all that stuff?
Yeah, how would she know to say all that?
Yeah, so they definitely had a conversation prior to that.
And the thing about it is, though, dummy, there's two sides to a trial. So yeah, she can say all these things on behalf of you, but guess what? She's got to be cross-examined.
Cross-examined.
Exactly.
Her
and that's
apart.
why when and I said the same thing. I said when they started getting into the was it light outside or was it not light outside? First of all, she's 9, not 2. Like you can ask her
was it day or night?
Day. Like she's not 2. Like you don't talk to who talks to a 9-year-old like that?
In this day and time.
Right. I mean, you can ask her, was it light or dark? Was it early? Had you eaten dinner yet already?
Was it day or night?
Simple right. Like, I mean, anyway, I was just like, why are they talking to her like she's 2? Like, that's how I would talk to my 4-year-old nephew. Was it still light? Did you see the sun? Like, what the hell?
Right.
But I agree, it definitely seemed like she was coached because when it was time for cross-examination, she just wasn't ready.
She wasn't ready.
She wasn't ready.
And Dummy didn't think that part of it. Like, she's going to have to be questioned by somebody else.
Right.
Poor Yasmin. That poor child. She done been through so much. So we see Kane and Monet is at the bar. And Kane comes and delivers the news to Monet that, listen, we got the product.
Yeah, we done here.
But see, the crazy part about it is they all acting like not having this product, because even when he went to go meet with Tariq and tell him that the pipeline was cut off, Tariq's like, my trial's tomorrow. What am I going to do? I need product. We are going to make $400,000 or $500,000 overnight.
That is the part that they've been doing that since the beginning when
I've
they
been
sent
meaning
him
to say
down to
something
the
about
strip
it.
club.
I've been meaning to say something about it, but yes, they have. Like they instantly get money overnight.
Right. That's not how this works. I mean, it's drug money, and yes, but that's
it's
not
fast
how this
money,
works.
yeah, but it ain't it ain't that fast.
He should have already had his money for Davis. Like, you should be working on your next payment to Davis, not your payment for tomorrow. And let's be clear, Davis, you mean to tell me that Davis is going to show up for court and he don't have his money? Stop it. Stop it. Yeah, that whole thing, I was like, why do we keep acting like it's just an ATM machine? You put the drugs in and the money come out. Like, that's not,
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You got to take it, you got to cut it, you got to do all the stuff you got to do to it, get it ready to go. Then you got to sell it and get your money. Like, come on. Listen.
It's fast money, but it ain't that fast.
Hey,
yeah, it's fast money, but it ain't like that.
That right there is what really blew me, and just to say, or go off what Really B said. Your trial is tomorrow and you don't have
your
that
payment,
or like Davis basically like waiting on the payment. Like, come on, bro. Like, this seems
like Crystal said, Davis ain't waiting on no money. He ain't waiting on no money. Because remember, he wouldn't even take the case until he got the $500K from Tariq.
Exactly. He told him 500 cash liquid is what he told him when he first started talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
And let me say this too, and this is this is how I feel about it too. I could even see if they had course correct at like different colleges. Then I could say, all right, maybe if he got to make some drops and he got to ride around and pick up the money, like maybe by the month, maybe okay.
Really be, we need to expand.
I thought they were using course correct up at Effie school too. I was under the impression the same thing. I thought the same thing.
If they were
running course correct all over, yes,
right
not
now,
just
if that's what the case was, then I would give it to him. I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. They probably are making that kind of money.
Especially since Effie, they made a point for Effie to come down there last episode to get product.
Course correct, but they definitely moving product. I just don't know if they.
So she should have been delivering a payment this episode. When she came down there last week to get product,
that's true.
She should have been coming back this week with a payment.
That's true.
Right. I was under the impression too that they were running course correct up there at her school too.
They was running course correct.
It would be smart if they would have. Because remember, she even said, "Oh, course correct dead around here because all the heat y'all got on y'all campus." But guess what? My campus, everything cool over here. We can run it over there.
So can we stop acting like there's only one damn kingpin in the whole city of New York? Why they can't find another connect?
And when we saw through Power that Ghostin was running drugs, obviously the Tejada family was running drugs at the same time Ghost and Tommy was running drugs. So yeah, Lobos them, the Jimenez, Milan them, all of them were all running drugs at the same time too. There's
the dude that they killed at the beginning of the episode. He was running his own.
He was running drugs.
Right. Yep. Why they acting like this the only connect in town?
And guess what?
Like,
when they killed them,
and Mecca just popped up out of nowhere.
Why didn't they take the product when they killed them? At least we saw it Monet when she killed Rico.
And Mecca just popped up out of nowhere. We still don't even know exactly where Mecca came from. It was just like, okay, one day we wake up and we see him with GTG and Kane walking out of warehouse.
Walking out of the sky. Like he had already been here.
Right.
What they should have did was they should have introduced him at the end of season 1. They should have introduced him at the end of season 1, so we could have been looking for him in season 2. Is what they should have done. But they just dropped him out of the sky. That was bad writing. They didn't tie in. They didn't tie in that character.
Loose ends.
So we see Tamika and Saxe beating up. What they were at, like a restaurant or something?
Yeah, it was like it seemed like it was like it was a bar or something. And that was the conversation they had about Tariq's case. And she was just saying, like, well, I don't think Tariq is as bad as his father yet. But if we don't do something to help him out, that he will be worse than his father. Yep. So, let's give him this 5 year. We can give him the 5 years. We can get him back his sister. We can get him back his grandma. But he's going to have to do some time. And David's policy is we don't take plea deals.
We don't take deals, right?
But what was the charge, though? I mean, this is capital murder at this point. It's a police officer. And it's a college professor. What was the 5 years for? Manslaughter? What was the charge? So you're telling me
what was it? Right.
Answer my question from earlier, because now, Damon, listen that you saying that Tariq fed the 5 year deal to Saxe. Saxe went back to his girlfriend in the DA's office and fed her the 5 year deal. That's how they got the 5 year deal. It was Tamika's idea to give him 5 years, and then she sold it to Saxe, and then Saxe off camera sold it to Jenny. But 5 years for killing a cop, 2 cops at this point.
That was a good ass deal. That was a good ass deal.
That's a damn good deal.
That was for him to flip. That was for him to tell them who really did it. They were just going to get him to accept for accessory, basically.
That's right. That's right. Okay, now I can see 5 years on that. I can see 5 years on that then. Okay. I forgot about that because the deal was for him to tell who killed the cop. That's right.
I got a question. Isn't it a conflict of interest? That
I would think it is. The prosecutor and defense attorney colluding.
Yes, colluding. I was just about to say that.
That's what they used to accuse Angela of. That this is colluding right here. Brady violation, maybe.
This right, like they sleeping together and everything. Like, wait a minute.
Screams mistrial, right?
Yeah, right.
They can't try a case on Power that's clean and legit for nothing. All kind of Brady violations being broken, colluding, the defense attorney, the prosecutor colluding, the damn defense attorney colluding on their client. I mean, it's just, I feel sorry for these folks, right? Because they got some badass attorneys.
I mean, again, the whole state of New York, that's all we got.
Yeah. We ain't got but 3 attorneys that work in the whole city, the state at this point.
Right. Everybody either in jail or dead.
I thought this was a stupid scene too, and I'm glad it didn't work out the way it was shown that it was getting ready to work out. So Everett coming out of someplace, dapping somebody up, and Drew's sitting in
that was Stansfield, bro.
He was coming out of Stan. Yep, because I see the Stansfield in the background. Yep, Stansfield University. So he was ready to shoot him in front of the college campus. Another murder at this school.
But at least he covered up his face.
They getting ready to kill somebody else up at this school.
Damn, he ain't covered his face enough.
At least he was covering up his face. I mean, you still can tell it was him with the.
And he walking down the street with a gun
with
in his
the high top. Yeah,
with the high top. You know, we kind of see you going in and out of his dorm room.
The whole fucking ski. I mean, he needed the whole ski mask on. He
needed the whole scuba suit on in order to not know that it was him.
And then there's a car coming up the road behind him, and he's pulling the gat out, walking down the street with the gat.
Like I do think that Everett should die because you a snitch and that's just the way that it goes, but not like that. I'm sorry, you a snitch. That's the way that it goes.
You would have been better off meeting up with him, and
because he trusts you, he would go
because he trusts
he trusts you. You would have been better
all together for him to do what he did.
Yeah. Well, we also saw that's where Drew's not what we think he is. Drew's not what he think he is because he's got a weakness. And obviously Everett is his weakness now. Mm-hmm. So now here we go. Drew's creeping up the road, getting ready to take him out, and that text message saved his life. That I miss you text message saved his life. Because had he not sent that text message, he was getting ready to be shot in front of the school.
Oh yeah, he about to do him in
front of the school, in front of the campus. Wow.
Yeah, that was just wow. That was just wow,
bringing
man.
More and more attention up here at this school.
Being an expert of that forte, he ain't putting a 5-inch gun in his hoodie pocket. That just don't happen that easy.
It didn't have no silencer on it. It didn't have no silencer. The shots were ringed out.
And the sidewalk, like, bro, like, wasn't nobody gonna hit them shots?
There's a car coming up the road. It's a car. Look at the picture. It's a car coming up the road.
But I think best case scenario is that Drew kill him. Because if Kane get to him, Kane gonna do him bad. I think Kane gonna do him bad. He's gonna do him bad.
You know what? I wouldn't even say Kane gonna kill him. If Kane kills him, it's gonna be because he's trying to appease Lorenzo. But I don't think Kane is gonna kill him. I think Lorenzo is gonna do it. And why do I think Lorenzo gonna do it? I think Lorenzo is gonna do it because rule number 1. No loose ends.
Lorenzo ain't going up there to that school. He ain't going up there to that school. Now he might order Kane to do it, but I ain't gonna say that he ain't gonna.
What was the other guy?
It's too high for Kane to even go to that school right now.
What was his name?
Lorenzo ain't going up there to that schoolhouse. He ain't going up there.
It's too high for Kane to go to the school too.
Well, it don't stop him from going up there.
He can send Kano.
Nah, Kano is the dude that got killed.
Like it.
He go up there whenever he feel like it, right?
Kano is the guy that popped the what was his name? That popped the chick in the bed.
Yeah,
Kano is the one that got killed.
Kano got killed. I don't know who the number 2 guy name is. I don't know what his name was, but yeah. So we see Dirty Diana putting the puzzle together. I mean, it was kind of stupid for her to invite Zeke up over there anyway. I don't even know why she brought Zeke. I guess she brought Zeke over there to put some distance between him and Mecca.
Zeke sitting on the couch with his stupid face and that stupid shirt.
That's what I was thinking too, Crystal. I was thinking that too.
Yeah, she can't trust that Mecca won't walk up on her again. I mean, walk up one Zeke again.
So she had a different protection.
Look at the face he's making.
Stupid self.
Right. He look goofy as hell.
And so this is where Zeke tells Dirty Diana about the encounter with the guy on the court. And did he refer to him as D? Did he refer to him as D or
he referred to him as Dante?
He said some dude named Dante.
Mm-hmm. But I think she'll
I'm definitely gonna watch this episode again, man. You know, I think
she did. I think he did say Dante. I think he did say his whole name because he did.
Yeah, he said Dante, and
he did say Dante. He said, "Yeah, some dude named Dante rolled up on me while I was doing shots."
Yeah, no, he said Dante, and she just sort of kind of made a face like,
yeah,
like, another stupid.
Man,
scene.
wait a minute. Look at this Bentley truck, bro.
And how did Kane get in a Bentley truck?
Fire.
Oh my goodness! And it's my favorite color.
Kane pick the lock in a Bentley truck? And how Davis don't see him in the back seat? No tints on the car. Really?
And he probably left it on. He probably left it unlocked.
And Kane got the mask on that Drew needed to wear in the last scene. That's the mask that Drew needed on in the last scene. Kane got it right at least.
Right.
A lot of people leave their doors unlocked.
That truck is so clean. Davis even had to walk up to it and was like, "Boy, that truck was clean as hell."
That joint was sweet, and that color, you know, blue my favorite color.
Blue my favorite color.
I was like, yeah,
that was a nice whip. But Davis, he played it cool. I feel like he knew all along what was up. And Davis tried to tell him, like, listen, I'm the only one that's going to keep you out of jail.
Right.
Killing me ain't gonna make the situation no better, and it really isn't, because now there's another murder.
Right.
And then you're murdering the person that is working to try to get you off.
I didn't like this scene at all.
Is that?
Right.
It was unnecessary because
it was very unnecessary.
Right.
Once again, it's like everybody keeps saying it to Kane. Everyone keeps saying it to Kane. You making stuff worse. Monet told you to go get the rest of the money. She didn't tell you to go bother that man. What are you doing?
Right.
And I don't know what you thought you was going to scare him, because again, like he told you.
What are you trying to do? Scare him off of the case?
But that, and that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. Like, really, be like, you thought you were scaring him. I feel like Davis at some point in his past, Davis was from the streets, man. He was calm as hell.
He got a body. He got a body.
Yeah, he definitely from the streets.
Not only that, but you confirmed probably what he already suspected, that you are really the shooter.
And
that's,
you gave him confirmation.
Tariq scared to snitch on you, and that's why Monet is willing to pay, and that's why he charging her the way he is, because he know that she gonna pay it. Like, it's like he confirmed what the thought was.
Now guess what? He gonna ask for more money now. Now he gonna ask for even more
and that's money. And when he pulled off, he told me something, and tell your mother I said, "What's up, Kane?" Like,
hey, that part right there, I was dying laughing, man. They put him smooth on blast. Like, you ain't even need a mask, man. We know who you are.
Like, I know who you are, bro.
and I recognize your voice.
That was a dumb move on Kane.
This scene right here, I could have did without.
Yeah,
they played that in previews and stuff. They had us all hyped up on this scene. This scene we could have did totally without.
I wasn't hyped up on this scene.
No, I would see some reviews where they said there was Effie that was actually.
They kept playing it in the trailers for the episode for this week, like it was a real big important scene. And
it was less about, if you think about it. Remember when he went to the meeting with him, he said, "I need soldiers," you know, and he was trying to get rid of the competition. There it is, right there.
Yep. So Raquel was texting Lorenzo, letting him know that it was done, and then you got Dante texting Monet, talking about, "Can we please talk?" So he is begging at this point. This is the second or third text message he don't sent her.
He desperate.
I wanted to talk, and she ignoring him while she was laid up to be able to hug him.
And why she don't have like her notifications off?
Oh,
like, don't you think Lorenzo is gonna see that?
Both of them.
If Diana see that, if Diana saw that,
both of them, like both of them.
Like, that's crazy. Like, if Diana saw it, you know what I'm saying? You wouldn't think, like, I mean, she don't know that Diana saw it, but clearly.
Yep.
Like, Lorenzo see that, who's D?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Who's Raquel?
Right. I mean, but he can say Raquel is one of the hitters that, you know, that we using for such and such. What's your explanation to D?
Raquel is D's hitter.
Right, exactly.
Right, but they don't know that yet, and that's why I said Mecca is putting his hands in everything, and that's why he needs to go. Like, he's playing, he got his hand in Zeke pocket, he got his hand in Kane pocket, he got his hand in Monet pocket, he got his hand in Lorenzo pocket. He's into everything, and he's pretty much to flip this family upside down.
Oh yeah,
because he's so behind the scenes.
It's gonna get worse.
Yeah, it's gonna get worse once Diana put the pieces together. Because I think that's gonna be the person who's gonna unfold all this stuff for him and spell it out for him. Either that or Lorenzo. Once one of them put the pieces together, then it's gonna be a you know what show, and you can just multiple people are gonna be dying by the 10th episode.
Well, I
hope one of them Carrie.
No, I'm sorry, but Carrie ain't going nowhere. Watch what I say. She's gonna be an influence. Watch, she ain't going nowhere. So we got I don't like people playing on my phone, and Jenny and Saxe. They all got
that look too.
Yep.
I don't like people playing on my
phone. Yep. Saxe, Jenny, and Tamika, they all go down to Tariq's dorm and try to get him to sign these papers. And he ain't going.
Yeah, Tariq was like, "I'm not snitching." Like basically,
he does make a good point though. Even though the deal is good for him, even though he does make a good point, like, my family ain't gonna be safe in the streets after I do it.
Right. His point was valid. His point was very valid. Like, and we already know Kane. We already know that especially now that Lorenzo's out. Oh, the Tejada family's coming back hot.
Yeah, they own one. They own one.
Monet, for real. Monet at this point, Monet might not even give a damn, but Lorenzo.
Yeah.
But you actually see
Monet tired at this point. She tired of everybody. She tired of these kids. She tired of these kids. She tired of Lorenzo. She tired of everybody at this point. Everybody
Kane gets that from Lorenzo though. That live wire mentality, like, I'm just gonna shoot anything. I don't care. He gets that from Lorenzo.
But Lorenzo at least thinks about it. He at least
he's a little bit more about it. Yeah, Kane is just he's a spark. He's a spark plug. He's a hot wire. He's a very hot wire.
That's why his nickname Hurricane.
And he needs to be grounded because he's a hot wire.
That's why his nickname is Hurricane.
Hurricane. So, you know, Tariq turned down the deal, and I don't blame him. Well, I'll take that back. I'm not gonna say I don't blame him, but I mean, we know his reasons for why he turned down the deal.
Right, he got legitimate reasons.
He has a legitimate reason. Saxe and I feel like they ain't gonna make it. They ain't gonna make it.
I thought he was getting ready to fire him right here.
I thought so too.
Me too.
I thought so too. They're not gonna make it. Saxe need to go on back and work at the DA office or something. He ain't gonna make it.
Never. He's not never be back in the DA office.
I don't know about that.
He need to start his own firm. He'd never be at a DA's office.
Maybe that's what he need to do. Maybe that's what
because he's unethical too.
Maybe so, but actually he's kind of been quiet this season. You know, he's been kind of on the back end. You know, I'm not gonna root for him, but I'm not gonna say he's not making as big of a mess as he did in Power. He's not making a big of a mess because, you know, he was all Angela's trouble in Power.
Mm-hmm.
And everything that happened to her was because of him. Yeah, he stayed on her case. He stayed up on her case. But he's not bringing that much troubles in this series. But I really thought that Davis was getting ready to fire him. Like, what have I told you? You are going against our client.
Exactly.
Money, cream, cash rules, everything around me.
Cream get the money.
And you up here messing with my money. And you messing with my money up here trying to get justice. I don't care about no justice. I want this money.
With the money.
You messing with my money. You know what I mean? I thought he was getting ready to fire him right there. I
thought he was too. I thought he was about to get fired.
Yep, he's up out of here. And he's going to go work for the DA's office as an investigator or something. Maybe he won't go back prosecuting cases, but he's going to be like a Paula. He's going to be like a Kamal. He's going to be a supporting cast member on the opposite side because he ain't doing so good on this side of stuff. Not on this side. Maybe on this side, but he ain't doing good on this side. Why are these two meeting?
Hey, that Jack.
Why?
Let's hear about saying that.
Explain to me why. Make it make sense, Crystal.
I mean, they don't have no burners where they can just send a text because all he needed to tell them was, we don't have no more supply. Like, you got to figure it out. Like, I don't know what else they
Dirty Diana. He could have sent word through Dirty Diana for that message.
Well, don't nobody know that Dirty Diana, that's
went up there. Yeah, nobody knows she went up there. That's right. That's true. But back up at this school again, in the shadows.
On top of that, Dirty Diana was supposed to know that they were still working with Tariq because, you know, she'd go back and tell Renzo. Too.
Hey, one thing he is aware of is
he's aware. But if I was Tariq, I wouldn't even showed up for that meet. I wouldn't even showed up for the meeting. You got me set up on charges, and we sitting here meeting like we good friends.
No, like, Tariq is the one that called the meeting, though. CG.
No,
because he told him. He said, listen. He said, I got 12 minutes before the cops is at this exact location.
That means Kane called for him.
Yeah, but he the one mentioned the word.
This whole thing was stupid too. It was just stupid too, because going back to what we were saying earlier, work overnight ain't gonna get you money tomorrow. So
no, it's not.
What was the point?
Especially not no Davis money.
Not no Davis money. That man.
Right. I mean, they could have sent a coded message to Tariq. They could have said the faucet is empty, the faucet is dry, the plumbing ain't working. They could have sent a coded message, and that would have been the end of it.
Off something.
From a burner phone,
right? Water's cut off. Yeah.
Yeah, and that would have been that. That was a stupid scene too. And we wrap up the scene. Who gonna wrap it up? Because I can't do this.
Hey, no, I got this.
Y'all talk about my kids.
I got this one. Hey, listen. Davis let her have it. When she sat there and told him, you don't have an ethical bone in your body, his rebuttal to that, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What did he tell him? You got several bones in you.
Actually, what he says is, and what bone haven't you?
No, well, there it is right there. Right, exactly.
What bone haven't you had? Let her have it. And she said, you don't have an ethical bone in your body, Davis. But the thing is, it's going back to the detective, though. It's really going back to the detective because he bitter, too. You see it all in this scene, too. Like, he in his bag, too. He and his feelings about Carrie, too. So obviously they was messing around. She know he married. Everybody know he married. He messed with her.
Then she gonna try to pop that little shot off talking about how's your wife.
Yep.
Come
on,
she
said, go back to your wife. No, she told him go back to your wife, didn't she?
I don't know.
She said how's your wife. She mentioned about name. She mentioned
about her business, and her name just keep coming up.
Endlessly. So at some point, I feel like we're gonna meet her. She's gonna play some type of significance in the story at some point. We're gonna meet her. Maybe when this as the story progresses with the brother. Maybe
I'm wondering. Listen, I thought this one of my theories, so it might be way out left field. The fact that he don't seem to be all that committed to this woman, I'm wondering if the marriage was like this, maybe his brother's ex-girl, or like it was out of to take care of her more so than,
or she may have witnessed what happened. She may have witnessed what happened with the body that he called, and he married her to keep her quiet.
Maybe, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I agree with that.
I feel like that. Yeah, I'm with you. I feel like it's something deeper.
Yeah, I feel like there's a deeper motive. There's no love in the marriage, is what you're saying. There's no love in the marriage. There's no love in the marriage. It's obvious because he's sleeping with everything that's got a hold to. So there's no love in the marriage. So it's an arrangement. It's an arrangement. We're going to see later on down the line what the arrangement is. I think you might be onto something with that, Crystal. It's got something to do with your brother.
This meeting right here, he let her have it, and that's what she need.
Let her have it for what though? What she do?
Because she is unethical.
What's she doing?
What do you mean? What has she done?
She slept with her student.
He pressed on her. He pressed up on her. He pressed up on her.
No.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That was still his first student.
Ever since her
Zeke is not a student. Are we going to call
they're building her character? Look at how she's.
He is just a player on the basketball team. That's all he is. He is not a student. He is not a student.
He's a student at the school, and that was unethical.
Listen, CG. I was with you at first when I'm like, man, Carrie bad. She fine. You know, I like Carrie. But now as I'm seeing how she is, she a serpent, bro.
She ain't no serpent. She's being used. She's being used.
Yeah, used.
Taken advantage of.
Lauren.
She is being taken advantage of. No, Lauren used herself because her stupid ass should never.
I bet you
never signed them papers, and she should have never wore that wire. Carrie was trying to keep her from out of trouble. So how do I blame Carrie for that? Carrie was trying to keep the girl out of trouble. She was the one who had drugs in her room. Carrie put them there.
Carrie ain't put them there.
No, she didn't put them there either.
She extorted her though.
She did not extort her.
Yes, she did. Yeah, she was wrong. Yeah.
Y'all gonna leave my Carrie alone. Carrie,
whatever.
Okay, Carrie.
He said, "Y'all gonna leave my Carrie alone, man."
No, hey, let me chime in. Let me
come. Go back.
Let me get my nickel. Let me get my nickel in there.
Hey, where you come from?
Carrie is unethical not only because she's sleeping with she's sleeping with Zeke. She just slept with a bunch of co-workers. That's just she's
all adults.
They're all consensual adults, but that don't mean that it's ethical. Secondly, Carrie is wrong because she's damn near coerced Lauren into signing that paper.
Oh, here you go shaking your head. Amen, corner.
She pretty much signed. She pretty much coerced her to sign that paper. So she's definitely wrong for that. And by her coming and presenting as a legal counselor when she was in the police station or whatever, she knew she was wrong for that too. So she's wrong on many. She's wrong on many levels. The sex addiction thing, okay, all right. Even if we just push that to the side, even if we push the thing that she doing with Zeke to the side, regardless if Zeke came on to her or not, you're still the professor and he is still the student. So you can't cross that. So you can't cross that line. But just off the stuff that she just recently pulled with Lauren,
and on that note, shout out to light skinned Keisha.
Carrie's going to redeem herself because she's not totally the villain in this situation. She's done.
I ain't saying she's the villain, but she definitely playing a major role.
She's done some questionable things.
No,
she has done questionable.
Wait a minute. Let him have that because that's the closest he's ever come to admitting Carrie does anything wrong. So just go ahead. I'm gonna take the win on that one. That's the closest he's ever
that's a W for that's a W.
That's a W for y'all. That's a W for y'all. I'll let y'all have Carrie. Because I dragged Tasha so bad. So I'll let y'all have Carrie. I will let y'all have Carrie.
That's the problem. We don't want Carrie. You want her.
Now we comparing the two.
No, we're not.
Yeah,
we're not.
Tasha is worse than Carrie.
No, we're not going to compare to Tasha because Tasha is a whole different type of watering hole.
Oh gosh.
But Carrie, on the other hand, Carrie has done some questionable things, but I think she can redeem herself. I mean, because at the end of the day,
I think her career is over.
She's not wrong. She's not wrong on what she's thinking. She's not wrong on what she's thinking. Tariq is the villain. I mean, we root for Tariq because he's the star of the show, but Tariq is deserving of everything that's happened, and he's deserving. I mean, justice needs to be served at this point. I mean, how many bodies have Tariq got? And we're just going to continue to let him get away with murders, and we're going to continue to let him get away, especially since I wouldn't be riding so hard down on Tariq if he didn't make such a big deal about ghosts and the things that he was doing. And you out here doing the exact same things. Your first year in college, your family was trying to protect you from all these things that are happening to you. Your first year in college, you are wrapped up in 2 murders. And your whole goal for going to the college was to get Ghost's money and take care of your family, and you have put all of that at risk, including your 9-year-old sister that can't do for herself, is now in the foster care, all behind you and your mess. So even though Tariq's not necessarily responsible for Yasmin being in foster care, he gets it by default, because had Tasha not took those charges for him, Tasha wouldn't be in witness protection right now. Tasha would still be able to be a mother to her child if she's even capable of doing that, because, I mean, her legs spread so wide. I mean, I don't know if she could concentrate on anything other than
if Dre never introduced Kanan to Tariq, none of this would have happened.
It is all Dre's fault. It is. It's Dre's fault.
None of this would have happened. You know, that's what like if you get like to the root of it all, if Dre would have never introduced Kanan to Tariq, none of this probably would have happened, and we probably would be talking about how much of a hypocrite.
I'm gonna give Ghost
how much of a hypocrite that Tariq actually is when it comes down to the comparison of him and his dad.
You not want to involve your child in the life. I get that, but at this point, when you see your child acting out and trying to get into life, at this point, you should have given him the truth. You should have sat him down and explained to him why you're moving the way you're moving.
You want.
This ain't the life you want to have. If he would have sat down and had a conversation with the boy, we might have would have had a change in direction that he was going. But at the end of the day, it doesn't justify all the things that he's done either, including killing his father.
But
everything his father was trying to tell you is what you're living right now.
He's a child. He was a child, so he didn't have to. Ghost didn't owe him an explanation to anything. So let's start with that. He didn't owe them an explanation to nothing.
Tasha did a lot of that too, because Tasha manipulated him and pretty much turned Tariq against Ghost, because the boy was acting out all along, even before all this stuff started. When he took the gun up there to the school, when he stole Angela's gun and took the gun up to the school, he was heading down the wrong path then. And they didn't put no straightening on him then. They should have put some straightening on him when he took that gun up. When Tasha went to go slap him, he grabbed her hand and yoke her up. They should have put some straightening on him then, because he was out of control. And
so what you think is the end game for, or what you feel as though Tariq end game is? Like in his head, if you go to his head, what do you think is it?
I think something is going to change the direction Tariq is going in, and he's going to be on the good side of things. I think Braden. I think if Tariq betrays Braden once again, just like what Tommy did with Ghost, I think it's going to be the last straw between Braden and Tariq, and Braden's going to become Tariq's new adversary. Is what I would like to see. And you have this inner conflict between Tariq and Braden. At some point, Tariq is going to realize that the things that he's doing is making things worse, and it made things worse for his family. And I think he's going to want to try to redeem himself. I don't know how they're going to redeem him, but ultimately, what I would like to see is him take a bullet. I would like to be done with Tariq.
Yikes.
I would like to get a new character. I would like to get a new story for book 2. I want Tariq to be dead and gone. Like y'all kill Ghost, kill Tariq. Like
I think that's gonna be the end goal at the end of. I think at the end of the series, that's gonna be the end goal. I think just like I said with Ghost,
I don't think they're gonna kill him. I don't think they're gonna kill him. I think he'll get arrested. I think he'll eventually, at the end of the series, he'll go to jail. I think all of it will catch up to him. The Ray murder, Ghost's murder, and Jabari's murder unless we see him kill other people in subsequent series seasons. I think ultimately he's going to go to jail.
Well, they can't. Well, yeah, they can technically.
Ain't no statute of limitations on nothing in Power. What are you talking about? It's 2 weeks in Power. The timeline is 2 weeks in Power. Hell, they pulled Yasmin from the future. What are you talking about? They got a time machine and went to the future 9 years and got Yasmin. What are you talking about?
Well,
there's no continuity. There's no continuity or no timeline in Power.
They wouldn't kill him. They'll just put his.
He'll be 21 at the end of this series. Watch. He'll be 21 at the end of this series. Ain't no statute of limitation on murder.
Hey, they wouldn't kill him.
He gonna get all the bodies. He gonna get Ray. He gonna get all the bodies. Ain't no statute of limitations. He going to jail.
They ain't gonna kill him. They just gonna put him in jail, and then that's when you gonna see Ghost say, "Finally got you where you belong, little nigga."
That's what he told him in that letter. That's what he told him in that letter. Well, guys,
I think unfortunately the villain's gonna win.
How do we rate the episode?
Yeah,
I give it a 6.
I'm about to say a 6.
I feel like it was a lot of unnecessary scenes. Now, like Damon said earlier, unless they're gonna wrap it back around and they're gonna make a connection later, but it just seems like it's a lot of unnecessary scenes.
I agree. So 6 for me.
Yeah, I say about a 6 because there was a lot of unnecessary stuff that was in there. There was a lot of head scratches in there, and Zeke just always looked dumb to me.
What was your hair scratching
moment?
What was your hair scratching moment?
The hair scratching moment was the Kane when Kane popped up on Davis. Like, who didn't know that was who didn't know it was you? If Saxe would have walked in, he would know that was you. If the DA would have walked in, they would, like, who didn't know that that it was you? Like, everybody is like, well, who did it? They pretty much want Tariq to say who did it, but I'm quite sure they all got an idea of who actually did it. I don't like the fact that Tariq pops up. Well, not pops up, but I don't like the fact that Tariq and Kane met up after you know for a fact that this dude then framed you or whatever. What we having a conversation for? Bro, if you didn't plant that badge on me, then I wouldn't be in this situation in the first place. I wouldn't have to try to find some work to pay my lawyer off.
My head scratching moment. That's my head scratching moment because that scene when they met up in the tunnel or wherever they were, I wanted Tariq to ask that question. Like, that is a conversation that should have been had at this point. Why did you set me up?
Like, what is like? Do we plan on smiling or smiling somehow?
Commented to the fact and said we wouldn't be in this mess if you hadn't planted that badge, like you just said. That's the moment I was looking for.
That doesn't make any sense. Like, what is his plan? What is his plan to get this off of him?
How is he going to get out of
do this?
That's the question.
Exactly.
That is the
question. Is that why you didn't confront? Is that why you didn't confront Kane about it?
I don't see how he's going to get out of it. I don't see how he's going to confront Kane.
We all know Tariq is soft. So what if he killed people? He's soft as ever. So,
and he can't fight. We done seen him get punched in the face many a time.
Kane would have beat crap down his leg. So, but why didn't you confront him?
That is the question.
And then now, here's the crazy thing. And then now Tariq, they don't have a need for you anymore because they don't even have any more work to give you. At first, it was we need him because this is how we move. Without being in the streets.
Tariq goes directly to Mecca and get work.
They don't need him. It could be, but now they don't need him. So what you even babying him for? Like, Kane could talk to me any way he wants to at this point. What did you even talk like? Because we don't need you at this point.
He's out of the picture.
Yeah, we don't need you.
I think somehow, some way, Dante is gonna end up pulling up on Tariq.
I foresee it happening.
And how is he doing it if he's giving all his work to the Tejadas? Like, right now, he's giving all his work to
there's a parallel
I don't even think it's going to be as far as, like, him pulling up on him for work, you know what I'm saying, for him to work for him. I think he's going to
use Tariq as a weapon.
I think it's going to be some reason why he pull up on him.
Okay, here's my next question. Do you think there's a parallel between Dante and Ghost?
No.
Could be.
There's got to be some parallel. Well, we know what the parallel is to the past with the Tejada family, but he doesn't seem to have it much for Tariq either, though. I don't know. I don't know where they're going with this storyline. I really don't know where they're going with this storyline. I can't really put my pin in it and say this is where I see where the writing is going. So there, I guess that's a good thing. The writing is a little bit better than what the predictable writing has been in previous seasons.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah,
but certain stuff just need to make it make sense.
But I say that to say this though. But how they're going to get him out of it is going to be completely stupid. It ain't gonna make sense how they're gonna get him out of it. And I guess that's what I'm getting mad for, thinking that however way they're gonna get Tariq out of this situation is gonna be the most dumbest thing ever.
Kane could have shot Tariq at that meeting.
You said what?
Kane could have shot Tariq at that meeting.
Yeah. What would have been smart if Tariq would have been recording the conversation and had the conversation, bro, we wouldn't have been here if you hadn't set me up and set him up. You know,
but then when they slaughter his whole family,
yeah, the whole Tejada family can go down at this point because they're all implicated. They're all implicated.
Yeah,
they're all implicated. They're all participants in some part of this crime, including selling drugs. So you know, Tariq just ain't moving right. I don't know how he moving. He ain't moving. I don't see how they're gonna get him out of it. It's gonna be very interesting to see how you get him out of it. Any other thoughts?
Definitely.
Nah. We got what, 3 more episodes?
Is it 10 this season? It's 10.
He getting up out the jam.
Yeah, we got 10 episodes. No.
What y'all think about the theme song for Force? Did y'all see that? The video for it?
No,
I have not.
I wasn't feeling it.
Not.
Oh man, it came on directly after the episode.
What?
I probably ain't paying no attention.
Yeah, y'all edited it too soon. Yeah, they I
watched the upcoming episode trailer, but I didn't stay. Okay.
Yeah, they played the video
on YouTube.
They played the video right after the episode for Tommy's theme song. It's a whole video they got for it. I'm not feeling it.
I'll check it out on YouTube.
I'm about to say it's probably on YouTube. I can go watch it.
All right. Any other thoughts?
Nada.
Nothing at all.
I guess we'll go ahead and wrap up for this week then, guys. All right. So we appreciate you guys tuning in. So we got a new way that we're going to be coming and visiting you guys.
Yeah.
So probably within the next couple of weeks, we'll probably start doing live streams. So hopefully our subscribers will be joining us, and we would love to have some other people on the show. So as usual, you can find us on our individual social medias, and also you can follow the TSF Entertainment podcast on Instagram. You can also email us at info@tsfentertainment.com. Let us know your thoughts on the episode. Give us your ratings. Also, if you want to be a part of our show, we welcome that. We love to get other people on to debate with us or to share your thoughts on what you think about the episode. You can find me on Instagram at Mr. RetroCG. Nobody else? Jack and George, we got to get you back on social media.
I know, right? I know.
We got to get you back on social media.
You going back on social media, but he's everywhere.
I'm going back everywhere.
We got to get him back on social media.
I'm nowhere everywhere. Maybe I do Twitter. Maybe I attack the Twitter platform. Maybe I'll do that.
We're gonna get you on Twitter.
Well, you can find me on YouTube at ReallyBTV, or over on Instagram at ReallyBTV_ on YouTube.
And you can catch me on Instagram at Juggernaut_of_souls. And on the YouTube, it's just Juggernaut of Souls. Put a space between Juggernaut and of. More videos coming soon, man. I'm a one-eyed bandit, so I'm kind of chilling. You gotta stay away from the media.
And we also ask for you to follow the TSF Entertainment YouTube page. So we'll be uploading this episode to our YouTube page, as well as those who listen to us on Anchor, on our podcast. So we'll have the podcast out there on all the platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play. So we'll be all out there for you guys to check us out. And me and Crystal will be back on Friday for True Crime Fridays, and we'll see you Power fans on Sunday. So we're gonna
There's a happy hour coming soon.
Oh, we got the happy hour coming.
There's a cigar hour coming really, really soon. I actually talked to Fresh Your Highness a couple of days ago. There's a cigar hour coming really soon.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll tune in for that.
Okay.
We'll tune in for that. All right, so we're gonna hit our intro, y'all, and we'll see y'all next week.
All right.